through a collaboration between the mayor and the Housing Authority of the City of Los Angeles, HACLA, which is revitalizing Jordan Downs. The park improvements include a flexible lawn meadow that will double as a soccer field, 2 basketball courts, walking and seating areas, and an accessible community pool. The Jordan Downs Central Park is expected to increase green space for the Watts community by 80%, according to HACLA. The enhancements are part of the larger Jordan Downs redevelopment, which aims to create park spaces while continuing to develop much-needed housing. For more information, visit mayor.lacity.gov/press.
Latino Heritage Month is especially significant in our city, where the Latino population is present in every corner. Different city departments like the LAPD took this month as an opportunity to share some of the unique culture and highlight one of their Latina officers.
I feel honored to be recognized as a female Hispanic for this month, especially that it's a Latino Heritage Month. I feel that I come from a culture where usually our culture is to stay at home and be moms, and I definitely wanted to change that, and I feel as a female Hispanic officer, I'm definitely doing that. I'm setting the stone for females to realize they can do more for themselves than just be at home or be a family woman. Latino Heritage Month to me means it's a time to reflect on the contributions and impact that Hispanics have made to the United States. It's a time to recognize that we all are a diverse community and we all come together as one. I grew up in Simi Valley. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I came here when I was 2 years old. My mom, my dad, my sister. One of my role models, especially growing up, was my mother, a hardworking single mom. And she definitely influenced me to be better for myself. I'm a boy mom, 2 boys, so I have to do fishing, camping, baseball, sports. I am a sports family. Dodger games, we're all there. So my current role in LAPD is I'm a patrol officer at Devonshire Division. I patrol the streets of Porter Ranch, Northridge, Granada Hills. Serving the city of LA means everything to me. Every day is different, and I am excited when I get home and say I have made a difference in someone's life today. What it means to me to be a police officer is partnering with our community, building relationships, engaging with our community, making friends, and letting everybody know that we are human, but we are here to help you.
It's always interesting to learn more about the person behind the uniform. As part of Latino Heritage Month, LAFD's David Ortiz shared fascinating aspects about his East LA upbringing, Latino culture, and what led him to a career as a firefighter.
I grew up in East Los Angeles and Boyle Heights, a very predominantly Hispanic community. I have a lot of fond memories of growing up here in East Los Angeles. And one of my fondest memories is going on a field trip to a fire station. There was a boat station in the port of LA. As I grew up, I made friendships with a lot of people who worked in the fire service and eventually ended up doing this job that I really enjoy. I grew up in a neighborhood that was sometimes prone to violence and crime, and seeing that there were people that looked like me doing this job and being successful at it was something that encouraged me to put an effort towards bettering myself. Coming full circle to Fire Station 25, where I had grown up, it was all that much better. And 10 years in this position has given me the opportunity to not only represent the members of the fire department, but also ensure that my Spanish-speaking community is receiving all the necessary information that the English-speaking community gets. And so I've always made it a priority to make sure the fire department is sharing information in both languages and making sure that our community feels included when it comes to the service and the information they need. Bringing my grandbabies to events that have mariachi music and have Mexican food and Hispanic food It's an opportunity for me to not just share with them the culture, but a lot of the wonderful things that the culture brings. Latino Heritage Month reminds me of the resilience of our people. You know, the Hispanic culture is a mixture of a lot of different things, and I admire our people for having the strength to continue and push forward and survive up to today. We're still here.
The families that read together stay together. Our public library's Libros Festival was a colorful chance for everyone to discover new authors, read bilingual stories, and explore different areas of the Central Library. El leer da saber y saber es poder. Reading creates knowledge, and knowledge is power.
We are today at the Central Library in downtown LA, celebrating the 6th annual Los Angeles Libros Festival, which is a book festival for the whole family. This is the largest festival celebrating bilingualism in Los Angeles. It's the big celebration of Latino Heritage Month here for the Los Angeles Public Library. We have books, we have illustrators, authors, storytellers, and we're just joyful. We're just so happy to receive thousands of people coming to the library today to enjoy a day filled with authors, with stories, with art, and with community.
We came to the library to check out the activities they have for the kids, and we're doing a scavenger hunt, kind of going to every section of the library, exploring the library. They have reading for the kids, painting activities. It's really fun.
I'm here in the Central Library for the Los Angeles Libros Festival, and I think this is just such an awesome way to invite community to be inspired, again, through the book form, through the writing form. So I'm here today to show support to the fellow Dominican-American writer, Elizabeth Acevedo. Her work has been so inspiring to me and on my creative writing journey, not only to go to grad school and get my own MFA in creative writing, fiction, and poetry, but to also host poetry nights in my home here in downtown LA.
Este mes de la herencia latina, hoy celebramos el Los Angeles Libros Festival, pero todo el año. Los libros, las historias están en todas partes aquí en la Biblioteca Pública de Los Ángeles. Los tenemos en libros físicos que puedes tomar en tus manos y los libros electrónicos, los cuales puedes escuchar a través de tu teléfono, tu dispositivo móvil, tu tableta, y libros que puedes leer también en línea. Es decir, que nuestras historias, nuestros cuentos, nuestros pensamientos están a la disposición, están disponibles para todas las personas que simplemente con su tarjeta de biblioteca de manera gratuita lo pueden disfrutar. Les invitamos a visitar las bibliotecas públicas de Los Ángeles, la Biblioteca Central y las 72 sucursales. Como siempre le digo a las personas con las que converso, las bibliotecas estamos para servirles. Dentro de las bibliotecas encontrarás un espacio donde tú, where you belong, donde tú eres una persona que pertenece y que debe de estar ahí. Te esperamos en las bibliotecas.
What makes Los Angeles so special is that it's a melting pot of cultures, races, and languages. The LA for All campaign, now in its 3rd year, seeks to spread respect and equity across our city by cementing the understanding that everyone is welcome in LA and there's no place for hate.
The LA for All campaign launched in 2021, and it has been featured in over 10,000 spaces all over Los Angeles in 21 languages. The campaign has been seen on metro trains, buses, the BMO Stadium, parks, libraries, the LA Zoo, the Convention Center, and many other spaces, including the Port of Los Angeles, LAX, and many spaces in between. We want to send a strong message that hate has no home in Los Angeles. We have a free poster program where people can actually find us at LA is for Everyone and order posters in any languages for any spaces. These posters are oftentimes used at schools, houses of worship, businesses, and other spaces. We want to be intentional that everywhere we go, we have a presence to say we are united and we are stronger than hate in the city of Los Angeles.
LA for All sends a message that the city is home for everyone. I started my career in policymaking for really personal reasons. I am the daughter of Korean immigrant parents, and when I was a teenager, my father, like many other Korean immigrants, was self-employed. That also meant that he was uninsured when he was diagnosed with cancer. And we were actually living in LA County, about 30 miles from here. And I learned very quickly that it's so hard in this country to get health insurance and health care if you already were sick. So because he didn't have health insurance when he was sick, he didn't get medical care. And I left for college about a month after the funeral. And so that's why I'm in the work that I'm in, making sure that our government works for and is accountable to regular, everyday Angelenos who need to access things like food, housing, and health care so we can thrive.
The Human Relations Commission is really all about bridge building, peace, and equity. We really work to make sure that there is a Los Angeles that is available to everyone, where everyone can not only just live and survive, but prosper and thrive.
When you think about LA City Hall, to some of the tallest corporate-owned buildings in the city, representing that LA is for everyone, lit up in the beautiful mosaic, celebrating the cultures and the best of Los Angeles, it was breathtaking. We are united, and we are united for a better Los Angeles, a Los Angeles that is truly for everyone.
Become a force for change and get involved with LA for All and other campaigns at civilandhumanrights.lacity.gov. In our featured story this week, we talked to some of the participants of the River Rangers program. These young Angelenos are both grateful for the work experience they get and passionate about cleaning up paths along the LA River. Let's hear this story.
We're out here making sure that the bike path is looking good for them, and we're cleaning it up, and that we're going to be here for a while, cleaning it up, making it look nice. I was going to school, and then I got introduced to the Clean and Green program, and after the Clean and Green program, worked my way up to being a Corps member, after a Corps member driver, and now I'm a crew supervisor. I've been with the River Rangers for about a year and a half.
I have a son, and I like for him to see this kind of stuff, so I'm like really hopeful for him to one day see all this as well, and to know I was a part of it.
I never thought I'd join something like a program like this, being a conservationist or just helping the environment, because it never came to mind. But up until I joined the Corps, they kind of showed me that, again, there's an important part to like helping the environment and like kind of making places better just for other people to see, like where we are right now. Like this whole area was cleaned up by us, and people can ride the bikes and enjoy their time there. They provide a lot of training. It gave me a bit of hope. And initially it was out of desperation. Like I really needed a job.
The River Rangers program is a jobs program for young Angelenos, 18 to 26 years old. We hire young people that live in the city of LA who have a passion and interest in the LA River and in the environment to clean up along the LA River and provide maintenance and cleaning work. They remove weeds, they clean up trash, they pick up litter, all to help keep the river clean and trash out of the ocean. It's funded by the California for All Youth Grant, which is an initiative through the state of California, which encourages public service and provides jobs to young people.
Seeing these job sites clean And then coming back after work and looking at them, sometimes like I even walk through the bike path and feel prideful that we did that as a team, so it makes me feel good.
The goal of the River Rangers program is twofold. First, it's to help clean and beautify the city of LA and invest in the LA River, which is a gem of our city, and there's so many opportunities to bike and walk and enjoy the river as a pedestrian. And then the second part is to give young people job opportunities and provide opportunities so that young people can get work experience and do something to better their community. It's really cool to work with the young people of this program. We've seen people that started that were out of high school or maybe didn't finish high school and had no idea what they wanted to do, and now they've promoted to supervisor or driver and are really passionate. The public can go to our website to learn more about the River Rangers program, laocb.org. They can apply on that or just read about what the River Rangers are doing. They can also follow us on our social media, which is LA City OCB.
In this week's Things to Do, have a taste of Soul LA at Crenshaw Boulevard. Watch the scary, fun Hocus Pocus 2 outside and attend the classic Grand Avenue Arts All Access. All this up next on Things to Do.
It's the largest free one-day street festival on the West Coast. Of course, we're talking about Taste of Soul LA. Join the crowds who will gather for the food, the fun, and the music on Saturday, October 19th. Historic Crenshaw Boulevard is the place to be with entertainment for all the family from Stocker Avenue to Obama Boulevard. Taste of Soul LA will have 100 food vendors offering multi-ethnic culinary excellence from the finest chefs. And catch the best in local music entertainment on 3 street stages. Mark your calendar for Taste of Soul LA, taking place on Saturday, October 19th from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. For more information, visit tasteofsoulLA.com. Get into the spooky spirit of the season at a Halloween-themed movie. The Port of Los Angeles invites you to join them for a movie screening of Disney's Hocus Pocus 2 on Saturday, October 19th. The wickedly funny Sanderson sisters are back in this comedy sequel, which promises to be a scary good time. Grab your beach chairs, blankets, and family and friends, and head to the Wilmington Waterfront Promenade for this community movie event. The movie Hocus Pocus 2 is on Saturday, October 19th at 6:30 p.m. For more information, see the events calendar at lawaterfront.org. Grand Avenue Arts All Access is one of LA's longest-running free arts and culture explorations. LA's public library is taking part in the celebrations and is hosting tours of the Octavia Lab Makerspace on Saturday, October 19th. The do-it-yourself makerspace includes all the equipment you need to be a hands-on creative. The library will be showing all the equipment and surfaces of the Octavia Lab, including how you can make your own stickers with a vinyl cutting demonstration. All the materials needed will be provided. Learn more about all you can do at the Octavia Lab in LA's Central Library at Grand Avenue Arts All Access on Saturday, October 19th from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. For more information, visit lapl.org/events. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's all for this week. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. Remember that you can watch us online anytime at lacityview.org, and we're also on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Welcome to the meeting of your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Tuesday, October 15th. We're going to take public comment both in person and via teleconference. Let's officially call the roll and get this meeting started. Clerk, would you call the roll?
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield, De Leon, Harris Dawson, Hernandez, Hutt, Krikorian, Lee, McOster, Padilla, Park, Price, Robin, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky. 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, first order of business.
Approval of the minutes of October 11, 2024.
Okay, Councilmember Krikorian moves. Councilmember Hernandez seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Okay, Councilmember Soto Martinez moves. Councilwoman Rodriguez seconds. Next.
Mr. President, today is Tuesday and it's time for the flag salute.
Okay, Mr. McOsker, would you lead us in the flag salute? If I could have ask everyone rise for the flag salute.
I'd be delighted. Thank you. Everyone, please rise and face our flag. Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Cook, let's run through the agenda.
Mr. President, would council like all items to go forthwith today?
Great. Without objection, all items will be forthwith. That'll be the order. Next.
There is a request to hold item 30 on the desk. There is also a request to continue items 29 and 39 to Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, and to continue item 33 to Tuesday, October 29th, 2024.
Okay, without objection, that's ordered.
Items 1 through 32 are items for which public hearings have been held. Items 33 through 64 are items for which public hearings have not been held. Item 65 is a closed session item for which public hearing has not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Okay. Let's see if any members on the queue. I see Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Thank you. I heard that item 30 was being held, but I was just going to request it for a separate vote.
That is correct.
Councilwoman Hernandez.
Yes, I would like to call item special 23 for a separate vote, and I have comments for item number 8.
Was that?
Comments on item number 8,
Okay.
23 separate vote.
Perfect. Thank you. Councilmember McOsker.
Thank you very much. Item 65 is scheduled for a closed session. I would like to be in closed session for that item. I want to make sure that we hold the closed session at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, it is scheduled for closed session. Councilmember Price.
Thank you, Mr. President. Out of an abundance of caution, the city attorney has asked me to recuse myself from items 7 and 40 due to the fact that I'm a landlord. Additionally, I'm recusing myself from item 8 because I'm uncertain of the developers working on the project. Lastly, I'm recusing myself from items 10 and 60 because my wife's employer has worked with an applicant on that item. 7, 40, 8, 10, and 60.
Duly noted, and we will make sure to take those items separately. Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call item number 40 for a separate vote.
Item 40 for separate vote. Okay. Councilmember Krikorian.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be joining Councilmember Price in recusing on items 7 and 40 in that I do own rental property in the city.
Okay, so noted. Councilwoman Hernandez.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to hold item 26 on the desk, please.
26, without objection, will be held on the desk. What is the hold, 15? Okay, and I'm going to ask for item 15 to be held on the desk and 28 to be referred to Budget and Finance. Okay. Without objection, Councilwoman Rahman?
Oh, not about this.
Not about that. But do you wish to be heard on?
I just had a motion for today that I needed to read, but whenever you get to it.
Okay. Great. So what does that leave us that we can vote on now?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on items 1 through 6, 9, 11 through 14, 16 through 22, 24, 25, 27, 31, and 32.
Okay. Does any member wish to be heard on these items? Seeing no members on the queue, let's open the roll. Let's open the roll. Either my screen's not working or I don't see any votes appearing. We could open the roll. Mr. Clerk, is there, are there votes on this? Because my screen is not
Mr.
indicating.
President, we're currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, okay. Okay. Should we do voice vote? Voice vote?
The roll is now open.
Okay. Let's open the roll. Okay. Close the roll. And tally the votes.
13 ayes.
13 ayes. Okay, those measures are approved. Okay, what's next?
Mr. President, the council may now vote on item 7, which was called special by council members Price and Krikorian for recusal.
Okay, but Ms. Rahman, do you want to speak before this vote? Okay. Okay, Ms. Rahman, Ms. Rahman, for what purpose do you rise? Go ahead.
I would love to make a brief remark on item 7 before we take a vote on it, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's make sure that the members who are recusing are off the board, which they now are. Okay, Ms. Rahman, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on this. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this motion because, I think a number of us have made it a priority to work with tenants and landlords, particularly after the COVID state of emergency ended, to ensure that those facing displacement and harassment are being met with resources from the city. One of the tools that has helped the city reach new tenants is a new stipulation that we all passed together, this body, that requires landlords to file eviction notices with the housing department within 3 business days of serving it to a tenant. And this step has actually helped the city and housing advocates and tenants attorneys and nonprofits both collect important new data, but also to do outreach to those tenants and make sure that they have the resources that the city is able to offer them and that nonprofits are able to offer them before they respond to an eviction notice. But I do want to flag that these filing requirements have not been being fully honored by landlords. And that LAHD currently lacks the resources to make sure that the eviction notices that are filed under the letter of the law. So for example, we've seen a number of eviction notices for undue rent or for not unpaid rent, which are actually below the threshold that this council passed last year. And so this motion will actually help us do our work better. It is not a new law. It is not a new piece of legislation. It is merely looking back at our existing legislation and ensuring that we are actually collecting the data that we need and doing the checks that we need to ensure that the laws that we do pass are more than just on the books, that they are actually realized in practice. So I hope that I can have your support for this, and thank you again for giving me an opportunity to speak. I also wanted to recognize the USC Housing and Law and Policy Clinic that saw this as a problem and brought it to our office's attention and helped us to craft the legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Rahman. Seeing no other members on the queue, let's open the roll, close the roll, and tally the votes.
11 ayes.
Okay. What's next? We have other items that members are recused on that we could take up for vote.
Yes, Mr. President. The council may now vote on items 7, 8, and 10, called special by Councilmember Price for recusal, and item 8, called special by Councilmember Hernandez for comments.
Okay, well then let's take up the ones 7 and 10 that were just called for recusal, and then we'll go to the one for comments.
And for clarification, sir, that's actually items 8 and 10.
And 10, okay. Let's open the roll on those items. Oh, Councilwoman Park, do you wish to speak on that?
No, I just wanted to
Okay. Open the roll. Close the roll. Tally the votes.
11 ayes.
Okay, next item. Next item is?
Well, Council President, I wanted to actually give comments on item 8.
Yes, we're about to take that up, I believe.
I think we did already. We did 10
That
and
is
8.
correct. Yes.
Oh, I was saying we should take up the 2 items that Councilwoman Hernandez did not ask to speak on, so apologize. Just wanted to do the ones before that, but let's have a vote for reconsideration?
No. It's fine. I just wanted to add comments. We
Okay.
can keep going already. Is that okay on item 8?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Thank you,
Councilwoman.
and thank you, colleagues, for supporting this motion. This motion, item 8, calls for a detailed review of the proposed affordable housing project at Toland Way in Eagle Rock. The proposed project at 4319 Toland Way in Eagle Rock aims to construct 153 units of 100% affordable housing while displacing 45 current tenants. Given the mayor's third revision of ED1, which prohibits the streamlined approval of developments on parcels with 12 or more RSO units occupied in the past 5 years, we are seeking a thorough review of the application. This development would come at the expense of 17 rent-stabilized units, and again, displacing 45 current tenants, many who have acute health needs. This motion instructs the planning department, in consultation with the city attorney, to prepare a report with the recommendations on the pending application. And your support for this motion aligns with the mayor's vision of creating more housing while adhering to the critical guidelines outlined in Executive Directive 1. Without proper scrutiny, we risk undermining our city's efforts to both create no affordable housing and protect existing tenants. Developer accountability cannot be overlooked simply because our commitment to expedite affordable housing development is moving forward. We have to ensure that the approval process respects existing protections for rent-controlled properties. So let us continue to build affordable housing, but let us also ensure that our actions are just, equitable, and in line with the protections set in place for low-income communities. Thank you so much for your support on this motion. As we move forward in a way that builds a future where all Angelenos can thrive. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, what's next?
And Mr. President, before we move on, Camille Lewis, I did hear you shouting out while we were trying to, or while CD1 was trying to start her comments on the item. This is your only formal warning through this for this meeting. Please do not interrupt this meeting. Go ahead.
Mr. President, the council may now vote on item 23, called special by Councilmember Hernandez for a separate vote.
Okay, do any members wish to speak on this item? Councilwoman Hutt.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. This is on a different motion.
Different motion, okay. Then let's, seeing no members wishing to speak on this item, let's open the roll. Close the roll. And tally the votes.
9 ayes, 2
Okay, this measure is agreed to. What's next?
Mr. President, the council may now proceed to public comment.
Okay, before we do that, Councilwoman Hutt, do you wish to, for what purpose do you wish to rise?
I believe the city attorney has an amendment to item 15.
Okay, for introducing an amendment.
Yes, so the amendment, which is being introduced by CD10, reads, I move that item number 15 on today's council agenda be amended to adopt the following additional recommendation. 4, request the city attorney to prepare and present the draft ordinance for city council consideration. And I was told it was being seconded by Councilmember Lee.
Okay, Councilwoman Rahman? You wish to speak?
Thank you so much. I actually would like to make a motion to reconsider item 5 from the Friday, October 11th council agenda, which is council file 17-1115-S1. And Councilmember Park will be seconding that motion.
Okay.
And Mr. President, for the record, one vote is required for the reconsideration of item 5, council file number 17-1115-S1 on the Friday, October 11th council agenda. And there is a request to continue this item to Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024, so that the correct recommendations contained in the Transportation Committee report dated September 18th, 2024, posted in the respective council file, can be reflected on the respective council agenda.
Okay, so first we have a reconsideration vote. Let's open the roll. This is a vote for reconsideration. I don't see the votes. Is the system working?
Mr. President, if we can have a few moments so that the system can take the vote.
Okay. Okay, I see the votes on there. Is that the votes for this, or is this open the roll?
Okay.
Let's close the roll. Tally the votes.
11 ayes.
Okay.
And as previously stated, there is a request to continue this item to Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024.
Okay, without objection, the continuation, that will be the order. Seeing no objection. Okay, what's next?
The council may now proceed to public comment.
Okay. Need to read any instructions in, or have you done that?
Yes, sir. As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for a participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute. Let me repeat, call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press star 9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press star 6 to unmute.
Before you move on, I just noticed we have an illustrious visitor with us here today. Former council member Paul Koretz is here. Let's acknowledge Mr. Koretz. You've got your fans. All right. Thank you very much. All right, let's proceed with public comment.
Okay, so I'm going to continue with the instructions. To people providing public comment, when it is your turn to speak, either at the podium or on the phones, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak to. You will have 1 minute per item, up to 3 minutes total for the items open for public comment. We will tell you when your time is up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you are not on topic, or if we cannot tell whether you are on topic, you will get one brief warning from me or the council president. At that point, you need to get immediately and clearly on topic. If you do not do so, or if you again stray off topic, you will forfeit the rest of your speaking time and we will move on to the next speaker. The items open for public comment are items 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65. Again, the items that are open for public comment are items 34 through 38, items 40 through 64, and item 65. Items 33 and 39 have been continued. Members of the public may also speak for up to 1 minute for general public comment. During general public comment, members of the public may speak to any of the items or anything else in the city's subject matter jurisdiction. For members of the public calling in, when it is your turn to speak, an automated message from Zoom will prompt you to press star 6 to unmute yourself. If you do not do so, council staff will prompt you once more. At that point, you need to immediately unmute yourself, or unfortunately, you will forfeit your speaking time and we will have to move on to the next caller. Finally, because of a brief time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, two things are important. First, while waiting for your turn to speak, please keep an ear to the phone so you know in real time when it is your turn to press *6 to unmute. Second, if you're listening to this meeting on another device, please turn down the volume on that device immediately when it's your turn to speak. Between feedback and the time delay, it will cause a great deal of confusion if you continue to listen on your other devices. And actually, there is one more announcement. If I could have the interpreter please say this aloud. So for anybody who requires a Spanish language interpreter,
Sí, para cualquier persona que requiere intérprete del español,
please pause every couple sentences to give our interpreter an opportunity to interpret.
por favor haga una pausa después de cada pocas frases para darle al intérprete una oportunidad de traducir.
We will pause your time while the interpreter is doing their job, so you will get the same amount of time as everyone else.
Y pausaremos el tiempo mientras el intérprete está haciendo su trabajo, entonces usted recibirá el mismo tiempo que las otras personas.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Goat Puppet, Amanda Adams, Stacy Cigar Bollinger, Mike Hawk, Blue Man, Hugh, Jay, Anita, Audit LA, Rob Kwan, Carlos Moroccan, Lori Lathrop, Mike Molina, Rigo Godinez, Ada Brasino.
I would like to request a Spanish interpreter during my general public comment.
Good morning. You have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment.
And with the interpretation in general public comment. 41. 梦中人，熟悉的脸孔，你是我守候的温柔。就算泪水淹没天地，我不会放手。等待花开，春去春又来，无情岁月笑我痴狂。心如钢铁，任世界荒芜，思念永相随。42。万事沧桑，唯有爱是永远的神话。潮起潮落，始终不会真爱的相约。几番苦痛的纠缠，多少黑夜挣扎，紧握双手，让我和你再也不离分。悲欢岁月，唯有爱是永远的神话，谁都没有遗忘古老的誓言。你的泪水化为漫天飞舞的彩蝶，爱是一夏之风，两心相随自在飞。43. 이제 나의 손을 잡고 눕고 감아요. 우리 사랑해란 나도 생각해봐요. 우리 너무 사랑해서 아팠었네요. 솔로 한단 말도 못했었네요. 让爱成为你我心中那永远盛开的花，穿越时空绝不低头，永不放弃的梦。우리 너무 사랑해서 아팠었네요. 솔로 한단 말도 哦，もっとそうねよ，你是我心中唯美丽的神话。General public comment. Soy mujer, soy blanca. Soy mujer blanca.
I am a woman. I am a white woman.
Amo a la gente blanca.
I love white people.
Uso pronombres femeninos.
I use female pronouns.
Uso baños femeninos.
I use women clothing.
Uso ropa femenina.
I use women clothing.
Deja de llamarme hombre.
Stop calling me man.
Empieza a llamarme mujer.
Start calling me woman.
Deja de ser sexista.
Do not be sexist.
Respeta mi género.
Respect my gender.
Respeta mis pronombres de género.
Respect my gender pronouns.
Respeta mi derecho a ser una mujer blanca.
Respect my right to be a white woman.
Mr. City Attorney, why my clock was
Speaker,
never
your
stopped?
time has expired.
Su tiempo terminó. Porque mi reloj nunca se paró.
Next speaker.
I go by Audit LA. Do we still have quorum? Because it looks like it looks very empty, and it looks like everyone's so sleepy
And
today.
which items would you like to speak
I
to?
want all items, but it's going to be 16, 19, 20, and public comment. So please give me 3 minutes. Hope
So
everybody's awake enough.
Some of those items are not open for public comment, so let me just repeat for everybody in the room. The items that are open for public comment are items 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65.
While I was over at the police commission, I think I missed a little bit of that. Basically, which committees are they for?
Sorry, I can't, you have to hold the microphone closer.
Okay, well, basically, we should be able to talk. I'm looking at this agenda. I mean, I want to talk on what I came to talk about.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 minutes for the items because that's what you requested, but you need to stick to those items. You can
Yeah,
speak
I'm
to
gonna
anything
speak to
else
human,
during
right,
general,
I
so
came
go
here,
ahead.
it's on the agenda, it's not my problem that you took it off. Okay, I'm here to speak about human trafficking and the LAPD that is doing human trafficking reports. People have been coming to you, to every single branch of government here about the human
So
trafficking.
I don't
know,
believe
well,
that
it
this
is
is
on the
open
agenda though, sir.
So it is not open for public comment. So if you'd like to, you can speak to it during
How
general.
is it on the agenda
but
and it
please
not?
speak to the items that are open for public comment first.
Okay, well, whatever's on the agenda, you know what, I'm just gonna go to public comment, you guys
so
are
you have
ridiculous.
1 minute, go ahead.
Okay, and you're not gonna like it, because now I'm really mad. The other day, okay, I was in a committee meeting that was run by Ms. Padilla, and they broke the Brown Act with Mr. McCosker as well. See, I was trying to be nice and talk about human trafficking and stuff, but since, you cut me off, we'll just do that. They broke the Brown Act. And I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with just the behavior. Even here, like, look how everyone, is that Miss Rahman over there having sidebar conversations? This one over here is shuffling her papers. Miss Padilla, shuffling papers. At least Mr. McCosker, I'll give him credit. He's looking me straight in the eye because he knows I'm here talking about him. I'll give him credit. And Ms. Hernandez, is that Miss? I gave her credit too because she tried to stop. I believe she tried to stop Miss Padilla. Goat Puppet certainly tried to stop him, saying, hey, you're committing a crime. They didn't care, and so that's on them. But I'm not going to forget, and I'm not going to let it die. So Miss Padilla, do better. Mr. McCosker, please do better.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All items, please, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Okay, let's start with 34. So we have a so-called independent charter reform commission. Councilmember Rahman loves to tout this independent charter reform commission at meetings when she's giving speeches and talking about how much she's worked to bring transparency and accountability to the body. But then we look at how the commission is being formed, and we have the mayor and this body appointing Krikorian's deputy chief of staff, who also used to work for Nuri Martinez. I don't see him in the room, but I'm wondering if Paul plans on recusing himself from this vote, considering that's a staff member. And while I see Councilmember Rahman engaged in conversation and not paying attention right now, I wonder if she will continue to use this commission to say, look at everything we've done, without actually acknowledging the corruption of the people being placed by our current electeds in this commission. We should be putting neighborhood council executive committee members on this commission. We should really be filling it out with only neighborhood council board members because they are a grassroots elected body.
Speaker, please move on to another item.
Okay, so we have several items on this agenda today for ceremonious and commendatory things. We have motions $438 at a time. I guess the cost to light up City Hall has increased. Finance and Budget Committee Chair Bob Blumenfeld admitted at the recent budget day he doesn't know why it costs $400 to light up City Hall. I guess he probably doesn't know why that price increased or why the recognition for October 7th is slated at $1,462, unlike the other items, which are $438 total. We have $4,528 worth of lighting City Hall up on this agenda, and that's as we are approaching a budget deficit, where our reserves are getting dangerously low, but no one on this council is willing to say, hey, maybe let's stop throwing an arbitrary $400 at the building every time we want political points for a cause.
General public comment?
Now and then I think of all the ways you screw us over. Like last Friday when you spent 3 hours on presentations. We shouldn't have to live that way. We can't believe a word you say. You just want us to let it go while you compromise with race. It's your dissent was all for show. You were supposed to cut him off. After everything that happened and the leaked recordings, you said that you would break quorum. Now he's serving on committees and that feels so dumb. Remember how he stooped so low, compared a black child to property among other things, while they gerrymandered us. Nobody on this council really gives a fuck. Nobody on this council, do you give a fuck? Fuck you all, sincerely. Fuck Kevin De Leon, who's a raging racist. Shout out to Smoke and Scan and Brock Landers. Hope you guys are doing well.
Good morning. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Thank you, you dog-eating ambulance chaser. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see, where do we start here? There's so much shit here, I can't even begin to shuffle it. Where do we start on the? Jesus Christ, everything is gone here. Let's see, we'll just keep turning the pages here. While I'm turning the pages, I'll play some music like Donald Trump. Here we go. CD 14, yay. Yeah, it's Kevin, Mr. DeLion. Where is he today? He's out partying. Fuck item 33 then. Yes, be here, Kevin.
All right. Item number 3 is not open for public comment. It was continued.
No, I believe.
Please speak to the items.
I think the farm animal said 33. Yeah, I said 33.
So you did, and item number 33 is not open for public comment. So please stick to the items. I'm going to move you to general.
How about the Charter Reform Commission? We got Anna. That sounds like a useless pile of shit. The director of the Charter Reform Commission. What are you going to reform? What is it, prison reform? Fuck that item. And then number 35, fuck the board of Pueblo de Los Angeles Monument. Fuck them. And then Jude Law, number 36. Fuck Jude Law. Then we got number 37, the Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio. Why, he hasn't done anything in his life since being there with Pat Morita, you know, the one that used to own Arnold's. Yes, fuck Ralph Macchio. And fuck the fucking Karate Kid. Then we have Irving Azoff. Fuck Irving Azoff. Fuck the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And fuck Paul Koretz. 39. Then we have the CPUC. Fuck the CPUC.
Item number 39 has been continued as well. This is your last warning. Please stick to the items, or I'm going to move you to general public comment.
You never tell us.
I said it at the top of public comment.
Yes. Yes. Now we have CD1, 41. That's a Unisys item. She's here. All right, I'll support it. That's amazing. Number 42. Fuck the City Charter Reform Commission. What the fuck are you doing? We don't want to reform anything here. We just want to have a city council that continues to bleed the taxpayers out of the asshole with higher fees and commit more corruption. That's why nobody pays attention, except for that fat-headed fucking attorney up there. And now for the public comment. Yes, the return of the scumbag, the CD5 scumbag, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Koretz is in the house. Let's give him a hand. Boo! Boo! Yes, you're a nobody there, Paul. And you know what? Do you still have that rent-controlled apartment? Or did you go back to West Hollywood where you really live? And has Tracy Park tried to pump you for information? Is she an informant? I wouldn't trust her if I were you. She used to have another name. And of course, all of you wondering, who's the next council criminal to be indicted? Who goes to prison next? Let's take a look. I have it right here on the phone. And the answer is, Stepper B has a 44% chance of being indicted next. Oh, all right. Wow, that's amazing. Yes, that's right. And Kern Price knows what it's like to be indicted. It's terrible to be indicted. You sit in your chair all day. Everybody's questioning you, what you're doing.
So, Mr. Spindler, your timer started late, but I've been keeping track.
What?
So your 1 minute has expired.
Asshole.
So next
I
speaker.
still have...
No, your timer was not started at the beginning, but you have gotten your 1 minute. So please vacate the podium so we can move on to the next speaker. All right, so you're now disrupting this meeting. This is your first and only warning. I've asked you politely to please vacate the podium and explained what happened with the timer. Next speaker. Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Lori Lathrop, and I am up here for 65 and public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for public comment. And if you could just pull the microphone a little bit closer so we can hear you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I appreciate your time. My name is Lori Lathrop. I am on the Harbor City Neighborhood Council. Again, I am speaking on 65. I want to inform you that I received my first email in regards to Silver RV Park on February 16th with an introduction to Danye and Stewart from our field deputy Desi Sarcona. On February 20th, I received another email with a response from Danye inquiring about coming to the March HCNC meeting, where I replied twice, once letting Danye know that I would get them on the agenda, second asking for a brief description of their presentation for the agendized item. I reached out again by email on May 23rd to Danye, extending another invitation to come to the HCNC meeting and give a presentation. I never received any responses from the emails I sent. However, in June, I received a phone.
General public comment. Go ahead. Continue.
I received a phone call from Mr. Stewart and had discussed Silver RV coming to the July meeting. Upon completion of this phone call, it was planned for Silver RV to come give a presentation, just awaiting confirmation of names that will attend the meeting. I never received any confirmation. After several attempts, they never showed up or wanted to come give our community any type of presentation on this. I'm asking you all to please physically come down and look at the other properties and what is going on in our neighborhood. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Mike Molina, and I'm speaking on item 65 and general public comment, please.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President and members of the City Council. My name is Mike Molina, and I'm a 35-year resident of Harbor City in the 15th Council District. Today in closed session, you'll be considering an item relative to Council Member McCosker's efforts to advocate for our neighborhood, and we're grateful to him, and we ask for your careful consideration also. The implications to this development in question are not new. I suspect each of you has faced this before. That is, a development project that you know will possess a significant negative impact to a neighborhood unless conditions are put in place. That's why we, the city, have a conditional use process. Developments like an RV park in a residential neighborhood require extra review. Issues like parking, security, lighting, ingress, egress,
General
open
public comment.
space, setback, hours of operation. This is just what a conditional use permit provides. It also requires land use owners and developers to work with the impacted neighbors, something Council Member McCosker's requested, but the owner chose to ignore over and over again. My neighborhood is asking you to stand with Councilman McCosker to do what is right, to require a CUP for this project. For if it can happen to us, it won't be too long before it happens to you in your district too. Please, please consider applying a conditional use permit to this project so that we can work with the developer in working for something that works for us in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
Good morning, team. Items 40, 41, 44, and 56.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Thank you. As for point 40, I see that there is a recommendation for flexibility and new policies so that investors, and these are owners and renters, can have an increased ROI for their investment properties. I think this is completely ridiculous, allowing additional flexibility for individuals, as I stated previously, to create their own investment returns. If we're going to have the forms of policies like Prop 888 or HHH, where, for example, in address 1035 South Benton Street today, it was supposed to have been opened yesterday, we're allocating $6 million for 20 shared housing locations units, right? Which is $2 million more than the average market value. Point 41, right? And that's in regards to the CRLA LA Access Non-Housing Bond Process from PICO Unit. I'm going to bring that up again because it is again prevalent that our predecessors, Gil Cedillo and other individuals, are in a conspiracy now managed by individuals who I really don't want to mention here publicly. You can look up my website at adreamnow.org, whom are utilizing state funds, federal funds to not only provide increased loans, as I just advised via Prop 88H, to investors, right, to provide a reduced cost, a reduced affordable housing plan, because there's still 21 units, and again, that's more than half, that are not in that parcel, that are not shared house. So you're gonna be paying $23,000 a month, right? So whom are we supporting? And this is within a redevelopment area. Point 44. Going to advise that this is the same plan, again, that was submitted on behalf of Eunice Hernandez. We submitted it to her staff for planning, Ms. Jimenez, on June 20th and June 24th, and we were requested budgets and an outline, because our initial intent was to submit a grant to the Department of Cultural Affairs for workforce development and paying local artists, of which we already gathered and galvanized, $300 per performance. And the exact same outlet on the perimeter of Avenue 57 of the Farmers Market, where the Department of Cultural Affairs, we could not double dip in regards to community resources, she's hosting it. So if she's gonna have a banner, at least give us some credit. adreamnow.org. Point 56, why are you using money for salaries for homelessness?
General public comment?
Each one of you battled consistently to be in the positions that you were in. And not one of you, at any point in time, ever grew up without the need of somebody's help. In reviewing that 2022 scandal, this over weekend, Eunice, you were standing right here looking at Gil, just like how I've been looking at you. We went to the same high school. You were a grade apart, and I was president of that high school every single year. Your team members were associated in my classrooms, in our community projects. You can shrug your face. So I can understand that maybe you're not in charge, but somebody else is within your districts. And it's obvious for Kevin De Leon. So if you're gonna do the same thing that was done with this Promise Zone for, as Nina Martinez said, for us, as they did with Slate Z, and I'll talk more again on that tomorrow.
Before the next speaker begins, I will call more names. Carlos Veganaro, Bob Mingle, Kate Ussel, Dave Matthews, Dominique Lauro, Eduardo Martinez, Aaron Adam, Frederick Silic, Hilda Delgado, Jerry Long, Jocelyn Duarte, Julian Alexandra Makoda, Mark Eldridge.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
42, 34, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
And if you could make sure Bob's listening back there, the first item is directed towards him because this is for the Charter Reform Commission's budget, devoting an initial allotment of $500,000. I know that there's more to come, but important to note that nearly half of that is going to be covered by the executive director's salary. We've got a lot of work to do in a little over a year, and we're already behind schedule. We only have 2 out of our first 8 commissioners approved, and I got nightmares from 2021 redistricting because Nuri Martinez and Paul Krikorian refused to give the redistricting commission its full budget until we were nearly done with the public hearing process. And that undermined the outreach abilities of the commission, that undermined our interpretation services. Ultimately, we got more than enough money, but it came too late. For item 34, this is the executive director for the Charter Reform Commission. And this isn't an easy job to fill, and you always kind of have to balance independence and experience. There's a lot in this city you can only learn through experience, and if this were for a choice of a commissioner, I might have some different thoughts, but we really just need competent leadership and staffing here. And I think back to 2021 redistricting when Andrew Westall served on the LAUSD Commission immediately after serving on council as a staffer. And ultimately, I was quite envious of the LAUSD Commission because they actually got their work done. They had less money, they were far more efficient with it, and they actually got agendas out in time. They actually ensured documents were posted on time. And that's something that has plagued the charter reform process with this council. So just looking forward to seeing Anna up there, somebody that I met for one of my first meetings at City Hall. She was with Matt Hale and was just blown away by how well prepared they were, what kind of understanding they had of the layers of bureaucracy. And I would just say to the members, she knows more than probably half of you. So it's a good person to have in there. To close, I just want to talk about redistricting, the thing that you'll only want to talk about behind closed doors. And note that if you don't act quickly on that, the opportunity for independently redrawing those lines before 2026 will fade away. And I want to just throw out an idea. I know you don't like council expansion, at least most of you, but drawing fair maps with 15 districts is not possible. And maybe, just maybe, you could convince Rob Bonta to hold off and let you implement it in 2028, and we get ourselves an opportunity to expand the council so we can draw lines that are actually fair and a little bit less disruptive for all of you.
Before the next speaker begins, I would like to call more names. Paul Koretz, Nicole Paulson Kahane, Mickey Jackson, Salvador Sanabria.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yes, my name is Ada Briceño, and I signed up for item 40 in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. My name is Ada Briceño, and I'm co-president of Unite Here Local 11, representing room attendants, dishwashers, and cooks in most of Southern California. Brenda Mendoza, who lived in Los Angeles, Koreatown, just 10 minutes drive from an upscale JW Marriott hotel where she's been working for the last 14 years. But she was priced out of her downtown area, the place where she grew up. She now lives over 100 miles away in Apple Valley and commutes 3 hours each way to get home. This takes a toll on her family's quality of life. She now spends more in gas, and she has a hard time making ends meet. Workers in the hospitality industry are struggling to keep a roof over their heads. This is why we firmly stand with Proposition 33. Proposition 33, the Justice for Renters Act, is a homelessness prevention and anti-gentrification initiative that will allow local government to provide assistance for low-income renters. As you know, wages have not been able to keep up with rents. Corporate landlords are driving up the rents with no end in sight. There's more gentrification, tenant displacement, eviction, and more. We need local jurisdictions to assess rent control in their need for their constituents. Please support Proposition 33.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yes, my name is Carlos Marroquin. I'm speaking on item 40 and comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Los Angeles has the largest population of homeless veterans in the country, with many of them struggling to afford housing due to soaring rent prices. Veterans are particularly vulnerable to homelessness because many live in fixed incomes, such as disability and retirement benefits that don't rise with increasing rents. Proposition 33 will allow the city to expand rent control to more housing units, including those built after 1995. It will give the city the tools it needs to help veterans afford stable housing and preventing them from being displaced. I'm speaking to you as a veteran today and also as a community organizer. Our veterans are suffering out there in the streets. We don't need more veterans to end up in the streets. I urge the City Council to get serious about veterans' issues
General
and
public
vote
comment?
yes on item 40, Proposition 33. Thank you.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yes, good morning. My name is Hilda Delgado. I'm here on behalf of the Prop 33 campaign, urging the City Council to support Councilmember Hugo Martinez's motion to endorse this measure. It used to be that owning a home was the California dream. Well, now it's renting an apartment. And as you know, current law bans local communities from expanding rent control. The last time the California legislature amended the California law was more than 30 years ago. It was done by Governor Pete Wilson, and it was written literally by the California Apartment Association. So rents have skyrocketed since 1995. Right now, California has more people who are rent burdened than anywhere else in the United States. 55% of Californians are paying over 30% of their paychecks on rent. Rent increases
General
are
public
far outpacing wages in Los Angeles and California. So I urge you a yes vote on 33. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
I'd like to speak to item 33.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
And my name is Paul Koretz. And a little bit of a history lesson. Before I was on the LA City Council, 40 years ago, I helped to found the city of West Hollywood, and I was an early council member there. The city was created specifically to pass a strong rent control and to protect thousands of low-income seniors from being evicted and winding up not being able to pay their rent. We were there to continue also protecting affordable housing. So when someone vacated a unit and they were paying $600 a month, the next person would pay $600 a month. But when Costa-Hawkins passed in 1995, rents would automatically be decontrolled. So instead of paying $600, the next person would pay $1,500 or $2,000 or $2,500. And this single piece of legislation over 30 years has led to the skyrocketing in rents that we've all seen across the city. So Prop 33 would overturn that, would allow cities to maintain affordable housing at current rates. It's critical that we start to get a handle on homelessness. The Costa-Hawkins legislation was partly responsible for our thousands of homeless that can't afford the $3,700 plus that an average rental costs in the city of Los Angeles. So I ask you to support Prop 33.
Good morning. If you could please remind us.
Item 65 in public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general
Thank you,
public
council
comment.
members. My name is Bob Mingle. I live in Green Meadows West. We were blindsided by this project of this RV park by Mr. Silvers. He never, nothing was ever put in front of the neighborhood or was ever introduced to the neighborhood about this RV park being introduced to our neighborhood. We were trying to figure out what we were going to do in the process of this coming in. What we did is we formed a group on our own, and we started communicating. We started sending letters to our councilman in 1-5 to notify him that this was going in. Of course, they were already aware of it was going in. During this process, this going in, things started happening at this park, this lot. He had a security guard there that informed me when I first found out about this. He flew out of his RV like Superman and said, "This is a luxurious RV park. There are going to be luxurious RVs in here, new RVs. It's going to be beautiful, all this." Well, as we see today, that is a total different introduction to this park RV lot. Right after we found out about this,
General public comment.
right after we found out about this, police started showing up this parking lot. Mr. Silver started forcing his security guard to start doing harder work because he wanted to finish by June 30th and have his lot put in. He started introducing RVs into this lot without his occupancy permit. We started having arguments with the neighbors. He started arguing with the neighbors. He was chewing them out, calling profanities, all kinds of bad things. There's been violations done. There was a huge explosion done on this lot. It was not fireworks. It was not nothing. The kid did something in there. He blew something up. I was standing right there by the wall. I heard it. 40 neighbors came out. Even some of the people here heard it. I highly urge that the council take the time out and visit this RV park and see it for yourself and see what it is. It will give you a whole different perspective on this. Building and Safety has let us down. We've complained to Building and Safety. They've never responded to any of our calls and any of our complaints. We've tried and tried and tried.
So, Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Dominique Lauro, and I signed up for number 65, item 65.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Yes, okay, thank you. I just wanted to speak on behalf of Green Meadows West and just let them know that I am a member of the Harbor Gateway Chamber of Commerce. I'm a volunteer, and I have helped, along with Dave Matthews, for the homeless. And you really cannot just have an RV park without having wraparound services or any sort of wastewater treatment or egress, ingress. You really need to have social services, mental health. They're throwing these RVs in there, and there's literally we don't know what we're dealing with as far as mental health or any conditions that they may have physically. I feel like it's a real disservice to those who are homeless because they're taking this as an opportunity to live there, not realizing that they're being taken advantage of. And I really just think that it's horrible, and we really need to look into what's going on here in Green Meadows West. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Good morning. My name is Jerry Long in Green Meadows, and I'd like to speak to item 65 in general comments.
So you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
Good morning and thank you. We of Green Meadows object to the use of a former oil well property turned into a super high density commercial for-profit business under the guise of an RV lot with no notice, no input from the local community, with the use that does not conform with any other property use in the neighborhood and currently has virtually no regulations. This space, zoned as the surrounding community exists, should contain 4 single-family homes or 8 condominiums. Into this 25,000 square foot area, the city is going to allow 39 RVs used for residences that would allow up to 273 individuals and 78 dogs, all done with a hand wave by the city building department with no environmental or safety review. This many residences would equal 11% of the entire Green Meadows West community. Imagine a fire, which has happened in similar areas nearby. How are 250 people and pets going to egress?
General public comment.
Going to egress the area while propane tanks are exploding, and the fire department cannot get through into this tiny area. This is not a park. It is not a park. This is not located in the middle of some recreational area. This is a high-density, for-profit parking lot with no regulation, no green space, no environmental safety review, and very little tax base is going to return to the community. It is dropped in a neighborhood surrounded by single-family homes of hardworking taxpayers of this city. This is a community-damaging mistake and needs to be stopped. Thank you very much.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
No particular items. My name is Frederick Silek.
You have 1 minute for general public comment. Go ahead.
General public comment. I'm addressing the national debt. The national debt is well above $35 trillion. If we acknowledge the GDP, we see that's about $28 trillion annually. The sad commentary is that this disparity is growing. So the reasonable answer is to raise the GDP substantially annually to align it well above the national debt. The way we accomplish this is through an advancement
Speaker, the national debt is not something that's within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city.
Is not. This is pretty important stuff. You know, this pays for all the bills. You know, if we can't pay for the bills, I can't talk about this. Is what you're saying?
So you need to connect it to something that the city has jurisdiction over.
I believe the city should be concerned about the national debt, sir. That's what I'm trying to make the point of. I think we all should be concerned about this, paying for the United States of America, paying the world what we owe. Can I stop there or no?
So your time has expired. You only have 1 minute for general public comment. So next speaker.
Good morning, Council. I'm speaking in regards of general comments on item 65.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
Understood. My name is Mark. I'm a 19-year resident of Green Meadows West. As somebody who works consistently 40, 50, 60 hours a week on my job, I rely on my city and local government to abide by reasonable zoning laws and ensure full disclosure when there are developments that occur in my community. I'm absolutely disgusted, that's the cleanest term I can use, to learn of this high-density open-air RV lot, which is what it is, to be placed on a former oil well patch. Only through concerned neighbors was I aware of this. Not one word from the developer, there was no notification or any of the such. I learned there would be 39 units, up to 4 to 5 people per RV, 2 dogs, all of this on barely a half-acre land. This is smack dab in the middle, surrounded by all sides by single-family homes. Council members, this affects everybody's district. This is not strictly a Harbor City issue. This isn't a Compton issue. This isn't a Linwood issue. This is everybody in Los Angeles, and it's extremely important. And I'm proud of Councilmember McCosker for bringing this up and for trying to halt this development further. I'm concerned about life fire safety, having spent several years in the security and fire protection industry. The large concentration of used RVs is a major risk to both existing and permanent residents. A fire truck can't even drive through the complex. That's how compressed and pushed together this is. This is happening all over the city, and now it's happening in my backyard. What happens during an evacuation? What happens during an emergency? And God forbid, what happens when one of these used RVs catches fire and spreads to the entire neighborhood? This is unacceptable for everybody. Any preliminary permitting would never have been approved if full disclosure from the developer, if any notification to the neighborhood. This is a critical litmus test to ensure neighborhood safety for all Angelenos, regardless of your postal code and residence. Thank you for your time.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yeah, my name is Erin Adam, and I want to speak on item 65 and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item.
Okay, despite passing all inspections and complying with every regulation, a vocal group of residents has opposed this RV park based on unfounded fears. Councilman McCosker has supported these NIMBY, not in my backyard attitudes, favoring those against the park while ignoring the needs of the vulnerable families it would serve. This isn't just unethical, it's a violation of the city's own goals to provide affordable housing. Every neighborhood and every district has to take part in providing affordable housing options. We can't just push these solutions away. We all share the responsibility of addressing the housing crisis. My child was supposed to have a stable home and school routine once we moved into the RV park. But because of the delays, that didn't happen. Without a permanent address, I couldn't register her for school on time, and her education has been disrupted. We've been forced to move around and park our RV on the street, and it's been hard for her to focus and succeed in school. The councilman's actions have caused real harm to families like mine, and this housing could have provided the stability we desperately
General public
need.
comment.
I also find the moral and ethical implications of these opposing residents and the city's actions to be deeply questionable. And to answer your question, my family would have been the ones that you guys were dealing with. Not insane people, not people with mental health problems, me and my daughter, who now don't have anywhere to live.
Before the next speaker begins, I will call more names. Paul Rockwell, Stuart Silver, Susie Shannon, Tommy B., Mariba Ward, Aaron Adam, Eduardo Relignago.
Go.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Kate Ussell, public comment, and item 40.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
I am a small landlord in Los Angeles. Our units are under rent control, and we are doing just fine. We work with our tenants. I had a tenant who collapsed and was in a coma. They fell behind in their rent. It took them 3 years to catch up, but they did, and they did not become homeless. We have had our share of problem tenants too, but we dealt with that. The world needs landlords like us, landlords who care about their tenants. We came to Los Angeles when we had active rent control here. We were able to buy modest investments before Costa-Hawkins in 1995. Our family would not be able to invest in today's real estate market in LA or probably anywhere in the country. Greedy, uncaring corporations and those who cater to them
General public comment?
have made that impossible, and they are creating and making the homeless crisis worse. We small landlords need rent control, we need the stability for us, and we need our tenants and for our tenants to survive. We need affordable real estate. Oops. You must endorse Proposition 33. Most of your voters need rent control. We all need rent control. Yes on 33. And go Dodgers!
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Good morning, Nicole Paulson Kahane for item 65 and public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm here for my kids and my beloved community, for their safety and for our future. I'm here speaking from my heart. I'm scared and afraid for what this development has, if it's allowed, in our community, for all of our safety as a whole. This developer has a past and does not follow the rules. He is for his benefit alone, not for all of the public, not for all of the people. This developer has multiple other projects that are very concerning. One of them being Ocean's 12 RV Park off Young Street in Wilmington, which he currently holds the deed of trust as a lender for this property, and it's under investigation by the city for health and safety code violations and overcrowding. Pacific RV Park, he developed and sold, is located off McFarland in Wilmington, which had a fire destroying 5 mobile homes. Cali Lakes RV Resort in Santa Clarita, owned by this developer, where he illegally expanded into flood and fire zones with health and safety code violations, and is currently before the Board of Supervisors for violating the 90-day stay ordinance in place. And now we turn to our project, being developed on 9 recently capped oil wells in a methane zone that's exempt from CEQA, that pumped oil from 1921, it was pumping. There are no rules or regulations. This developer does not comply with any rules. Even after the motions to stop, he submitted supplemental permits, and including new plans, and proceeded to build on those, even though they were not issued. Please, 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 come and see all of his projects. I have pictures also, if I'm allowed to give.
So,
okay.
Speaker, your time's expired, but
Thank
if
you
you'd like
very
to
much.
share any documents, including photos, you can give them to the sergeants. Next speaker. Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Mickey Jackson, item 40, general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the
Thank
item.
you. I've been in Los Angeles quite a long time. I came here in 1968, 69, and we didn't have that many homeless per capita here. Used to have to go to Skid Row and there'd just be a sprinkling of homeless other places. But since then, the percentage of people who are homeless and the count of people who are homeless has gone up, 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 up. The big difference I see is when Costa-Hawkins was passed and rent control updates were frozen, rent control was frozen where it was then in 78, and when that happened, we began to see, if you look at the graph before then, it goes along about like this, and then all of a sudden it's climbing, climbing, climbing. Rent control is a saving measure for people being homeless. The biggest difference in Los Angeles has really been lack of rent control and targeting of rent controlled apartments. I'm a small landlord. I have a couple of older units. They're under rent control. We're doing just fine. We set the rent at approximate market rate. At the time we set rent for, we got a raise that about equals cost of living. Everybody's fine. It creates a level playing field and stability, which I'm a small landlord. That's what we have in our pocket to keep us going, that stability. Corporate landlords, they don't care if it's rented or not because they're living off the value of the building. It is a terrible situation. Corporate landlords and a government that does their bidding too often are an engine of homelessness for our city.
Good morning. If you could please
Good morning.
remind us of the...
Eduardo Martinez, item 40, public comment. I just want to let you know that today we are here to ask you to support Prop 33. There's a bunch of us here. Would you please vote yes on 33? It is very important. There's homeless individuals in every district here in the state of California, in the county of California. We don't want any more. We don't want no homeless anymore. So help us approve Prop 33 on November 15th. Thank you. November 5th. Thanks.
Good morning. Item 65, please, and general public comment.
Okay, good morning. You have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the item.
So my name is Dave Matthews. I'm with the Harbor Gateway Chamber from CD15, or the 1-5 as we like to call it. And I would like all of you to really take a look at this item 65 to make sure that you're supporting our councilman and visit the location. As someone who's on the street 8 hours, 7 days a week, working with every single RV in CD15 and the unincorporated areas of East Gardena, West Rancho, Rosewood, it's a very complicated issue, as most of you are aware, but the majority of these RVs are not owner-owned or owner-occupied, they're rented. We're currently trying to identify 14 RVs that are owner-occupied throughout the area, and we've only found 7, so that they can go to a special program that is coming online soon for RVs to receive the right services and resources. To put RVs behind a gate without mental health and without the proper resources, it's going to harm them further. So we must protect these the folks in the RVs need to be protected by having the correct resources and service providers so that they can transition into Pathway Home and Inside Safe. And those programs are working. I brought somebody here today that just moved from an RV after living in it 9 years, went to a motel and moved into their home yesterday. So the program works, it takes time and it takes energy. So please support the councilman with visiting this location. It's not an ideal situation to allow a bunch of RVs on a lot without a plan. Thank you very much.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Paul Rockwell, and I'm speaking on item 65.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Our RV project is fully compliant with all local ordinances and state law, making it by right ministerial project. This means it should not require discretionary approvals because it meets all the performance standards of the LAMC 14A7. However, our permit was unlawfully closed. We received no notice, no violation, and no opportunity to appeal the decision. The law is very clear in these types of cases. Ministerial permits cannot be arbitrarily closed unless there is fraud or corruption involved, which there was not. What has happened here is unlawful, and our position is strongly supported by prior court rulings as well as decisions from the California Supreme Court. The city has no defensible position in this extraordinary action against us. The city and local opposition have no legal basis to oppose this park. NIMBY, not in my backyard, is not legal stance, and the motions were brought to the council with statements known by the author to be false. Because of that, I also request that Councilman McCoster be recused from any further deliberations, decisions, or discussions in all motions related to this park. I still have general comment, right?
If you want general public comment, yes, you have a minute. Go ahead.
He has shown great bias and is seen in his interviews on TV and newspapers and comments on social media, and cannot be fair or impartial in this matter. He has never taken the time to take the people this park is meant to serve, but has been a big part of the discussions among the opposing parties. It's time to stop the unlawful delays, issue the permits, and open the park for the families who need it. Under the city zoning laws, RV parks are allowed in all zoning areas, and including R1, which is critical to ensuring the affordable housing options can be built where they are needed most. The projects comply with every zoning rule, and it's yet to still be blocked. I've ever seen one proposal for the city to buy the land and turn it into a dog park. It is morally bankrupt, prioritizing recreational space for pets over the affordable housing for vulnerable families. Thank you very much.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Stuart Silver with Silver RV Park.
And which items would you like to speak to?
Number 65.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Okay. Despite our project being completely with all legal requirements, Councilman McCoster introduced an unnecessary and unlawful discretionary interference. He has politicized the project and has done so using false information, which has delayed the development despite needing affordable housing. The city defines as a RV as a portable mounted on wheels used for human habitat. Our project aligns perfectly with the mayor's emergency declaration on homeless, which recognizes the urgency need for flexible and affordable housing options like RV parks. By blocking the project to the city is not only a violation of city ordinance, but standing in the way of critical solutions to the house.
General public comment?
Okay, which met every single requirement possible. We got our sign off by HCD, which is the state, completely, and a permit. We got our permit from the city. We were going to get our final permit the next day to find out that the project's been closed at the request of Mr. McCoster. This is highly illegal. We have been dealing with our attorneys and the city attorney on it, causing significant financial hardship over the past 24 months. The same project we were approved on, there were 54 projects like mine that have been built as public benefits program without having to go through this interference. This delay continuous delay is not only unlawful, but it's a violation of my rights. I have no choice but to take this matter to the courts, which I did already. And while I'm preparing, I ask that the city.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker. Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
My name is Mary B. Ward, and I'd like to speak on item number 65 and then also public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item.
The item number 65, I first learned of this RV park coming into our community by a banner being displayed on the street, Silver RV Park. So I immediately went to the internet because there's a lot of information you get, and I found the website for the Silver RV Park, and it described it as a beautiful community near the beach in the city of Torrance. I live in the city of Los Angeles, in the community of Harbor City, which is where the RV park will be located. So obviously already we have false information that's misleading to the people that may be coming from anywhere in the country to live in this RV park. So that kind of tells you so it gave me a reason to further look into it. I happened to drive by other properties that He has started and located at our RV parks, and it was just deplorable conditions of
General public comment?
of people that are in need. Yes, I believe that we need to service people that need housing, but to push them all and crowd them into a small little area is not a service to these citizens of our city. Yes, they need help, and we need to find a way to do it appropriately that will help them to thrive and be a thriving member of our community. There are facilities within our neighborhood that are helping, like senior living facilities that follow regulations and state laws. This RV park has been able to be circumvented from following any of those processes. They have been allowed to build this without having any service to the land that it's on, which is considered a methane zone, which is a danger to the people that would be living on it. So I encourage you to go visit these RV parks and see what Mr. Silver is doing.
Speaker, your time has expired. Next speaker.
Thank you.
Good morning. If you could please
morning.
remind us.
My name is Betty Jiménez. Estoy aquí para representar a la proposición 33 y
And
no a la
which
34.
items would you like to speak to?
A la 40.
Oh, yes, I would like to speak for item 40.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yes on 33. Thank you.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Council. I will be speaking on item 40. My name is Enrique Baeza, and I am in support of Prop 33. Our rent is too damn high, and we would appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
Buenos días. Mi nombre es Andrés Díaz y vengo aquí de voluntario para EACHEF y estoy apoyando la proposición 33.
Hello, yes, I am Andres Diaz. I am working as a volunteer, and I'm here to support Proposition 33.
Y mi comentario público es que le pido a los votantes que para las próximas elecciones apoyen a la proposición 33 y no a la 34.
Yes, I am asking voters on the next election to vote yes on 33 and no on 40.
Thank you. Gracias.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Shauna Moore, and I'm speaking on item 40, Proposition 33. I'm in favor of it. I'm here to ask everyone here to please vote yes on 33. It's very important. During COVID, our rent was raised during the lockdown, and I was shocked because nobody was paying rent, and yet we got a rent increase during the COVID shutdown. I work in the film industry with my husband, and it's going slowly downhill with the strikes. It's affected us in a very bad way, and it's hard for us to consistently stick with our rent. And every year that we've been in our home, when we've been in this home for over 20 years, we've had a consistent rent increase. And it's very slow, it's very hard to keep up with that rent increase when your industry is slowly crashing. So I'm asking everyone, please, you either know someone who's renting or you rent yourself. And if you don't, you own a home. And guess what? When they can't pay the rent, they're coming to you to live in your home. And I'd rather they live in dignity in their own.
Speaker, your time has expired. Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Yeah, my name is Yaritza, and it's general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So good morning. My name is Yaritza Gonzalez, and I'm here on behalf of Carecen, the Central American Resource Center. Since its founding in 1983, when thousands of Central Americans fled the civil wars, Carecen has envisioned Los Angeles to be a place where Central Americans and all other communities can live in dignity. Los Angeles now has the largest Central American community in the U.S. and the largest outside of Central America itself. According to the 2020 U.S. Census, the city of Los Angeles is home to over 600,000 Central Americans. The Central American community has significantly contributed to the social, economic, and cultural landscape of the city of Los Angeles, particularly in the neighborhoods of Pico Union and Westlake. We urge the City Council to pass the motion to honor the history and culture of Central American community in LA by designating a Central American Cultural District in the city of Los Angeles. Thank you.
Okay, before the next speaker begins, Ms. Rocha, please do not yell out during someone else's public comments. This is your only warning. Good morning. You could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to?
I'm speaking on item 40 in general public comment.
Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, City Council members. I'm Susie Shannon. I'm the campaign manager for the Yes on 33 campaign. I'm asking you to join the California Democratic Party, the LA County Democratic Party, the County of Los Angeles, the County of San Francisco, the City of West Hollywood, City of Bell Gardens, and City of Santa Monica, and over 100 organizations, including tenant rights groups, and senior groups like the California Alliance for Retired Americans, veterans groups like Veterans Voices, in supporting Proposition 33. I have been coming to council since 2005 on behalf of homeless and low-income communities, and never did I think we were going to reach an average rent in the city of Los Angeles for a 2-bedroom of $3,742 as of September 2024. We're asking kindly for you to support Prop 33. Thank you.
Good morning. Which items would you like to speak to?
All of them.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for the items, and again, that's items 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65. So to the extent you'd like to talk about your court case, that would be during general. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. My name is Susan Rocha. I live in CD1. I would vote no for 33 and 34 since that's not going to help either side. And nobody knows what's in those details that's buried, and it's really going to hurt a lot of people on both sides of the issue. But besides that, I'll go to general.
So you have 1 minute.
Hey, Hernandez, shame on you for supporting Divine Savior Catholic Church. They took me to court for a bogus crime. I was found not guilty by 12 people, and Priest Albert prosecutes me on the stand for the prosecution. That's not right. That's cruel. And you went over there and you supported them. Shame on you. There's 2 child molester priests came out of that church, Divine Savior. Shame on you. And their sister church in Elysian Valley. Where's Hugo? Yeah, with Priest Albert. Yeah, he's in charge over there now. But 2 molester priests came out of Divine Savior at St. Anne. Shame on you for supporting them. And all I want is peace and quiet in my home, but you wouldn't go over there and talk to them about their noise problem with the amplified sound system and the tape recorders in my house blasting all day long. You wouldn't do that, but you go and kiss their ass over there, Divine Savior. They're not voters, and they don't even live there, so you're wasting your goddamn time on them.
Speaker, your time has expired. Okay, Speaker, your time has expired. Good morning. If you could please.
Spoken in Spanish. Buenos días, mi nombre es Armando Quinteros y vengo a pedirles a todos que vivo cerca de MacArthur Park y me gustaría que limpiaran el parque y todo porque hay mucha
And if you could just
gente.
pause for 1 minute.
Y también a pedirles que...
Sí, señor, un momento, si puede pausar para que le pueda traducir. Muchas gracias. Yes, my name is Hernando Quintero, and I am asking you because I live close to MacArthur Park, and I am requesting a park cleanup.
Y gracias a todos. Merci, bonjour.
Yes, thank you to everybody.
Good morning. If you could please remind us of the name you signed up under and the items you'd like to speak to.
Okay, my name is Francisco Salcido. I'm proposing on Yes on 33 because my personal experience, I used to be homeless, and I have a lot of friends that have that fear because the rent is getting too high, and we need to propose that 33. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Dana, and I'm here to speak on 65.
Good morning. Okay, so you have 1 minute for the item. Go ahead.
Yes, I prepared this little speech to say, but I just want to come from the heart and say that I'm an RV park owner. I'm not an RV park owner, I'm an RV owner. I have a career, I'm a single parent. I have a $50,000 RV. My friend has a $60,000 RV. We want the same goals as the people opposed to us. We want to have no crime. We want to have no issues. We want to have no drama. That's our absolute 100% goal, to have screen the tenants and have rules and regulations and no drama at all. Nobody wants to have that kind of stuff. So we're fighting for the same thing. I don't understand why they're fighting against it, because we're not trying to bring trouble and drama over to that area. We're trying to bring an upper scale group of people that are hardworking just as they are. They just chose RVs because of the cost of living. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and hopefully you guys will understand that we want the same thing as they do.
Okay. And I'm being told by the sergeants that there is no one else here to speak during public comment. Would the, oh.
With respect, please, we have a stakeholder that signed up and hasn't been called.
That's fine. Then we can take one more speaker, and then we'll close public comment.
Just to clarify, we had people sign up after all names were called.
Okay, so I believe the chair said he's going to take one more speaker. So
I would like to speak to item 65 under general public comment, please.
okay, so you have 1 minute for the item and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the item.
My name is Crystal Cooper, and building a parking lot in Los Angeles City is more difficult than building an RV park. The parking lot comes with a long list of regulations, including restrictions on the number of vehicles, spacing between them, the duration they can stay, required green spaces, and more. If the land is on a methane zone or a decommissioned oil field, builders must go through extensive environmental reviews and ensure safety. On the other hand, RV parks in Los Angeles City face far fewer regulations. In fact, the city lacks specific ordinances for RV parks altogether, meaning developers can dictate the terms. The RV park in Wilmington, located off of Young Street, spans 1.09 acres and houses 43 RVs. In a nearby development in Harbor City, the same developer is squeezing 39 RVs onto a lot half its size. This overcrowding is a direct result of the lack of regulations governing RV parks in Los Angeles City. To add to the burden, where are the occupants going to park their cars in this densely parked lots? A glaring question is, where is the concern from the City Council for the safety and quality of life of these occupants? Unlike parking lots, which face a wide range of regulations concerning the spacing, green space, and environmental safety, RV parks have virtually no rules in place, with no minimum standards of spacing between RVs, no limits on how long people can stay, and no mandates for green spaces or safety measures. Developers are left to set their own terms, often prioritizing profit over the well-being of residents. But in other cities and other counties in California, they have rules in place. Why doesn't LA City have these rules? Why are the developers allowed to dictate these conditions unchecked? Why hasn't the city established protections for residents in these RV parks, ensuring the safety and livability? The lack of regulations suggests not only a disregard for the vulnerable people living through these conditions, but also failure in oversight that should protect them. Before an RV park can be developed in a residential neighborhood, shouldn't these rules have already been in place? One of the most troubling aspects is the disregard for safety standards. Why did the Los Angeles Building Safety allow RV developers to bypass CEQA requirements? Why did the Building Safety ignore Councilman Tim McCosker's motion on June 26th to halt further permits until a study can be completed? This motion was designed to prevent unchecked development, yet permits were still issued. This suggests a troubling oversight or worse, a willingness to ignore concerns. Thank you.
Okay, that will close public comment here in council chambers. Before we move on to phones, we have a special presentation from Councilmember Park and Councilmember Krikorian. Councilmember Park, would like to start us off?
Thank you, Councilmember Lee. So it is my distinct honor and privilege to take a moment to welcome to the City of Los Angeles and our council chambers members of the Parisian General Delegation for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, as well as employees from the city of Paris. all of whom worked on the 2024 games, and some of whom have been at this now for more than 7 years. I think many of you know I had the opportunity to travel with Council President Emeritus Krikorian and Councilmember Yaroslavsky, as well as Mayor Bass and her team, to Paris in March. And some of us had the opportunity to go again for the end of the games. The Parisian delegation welcomed us with open arms. And through their innovative host cities experience, they actually created training programs for us to attend so that we could benefit from their years of planning and learning and bring those best practices right here back to Los Angeles as we get ready to host the Olympics in 2028. The delegation arrived here in the city of Los Angeles last night. I know you're all jet lagged, but we're very, very pleased to see you here. We have already launched the program here this morning with a meeting with the mayor and her team and the delegation and some other members about legacy building and how the city of Paris used the games as an opportunity to press forward with existing programs and policy goals that were really important to them. So we are really excited to have the delegation here in Los Angeles for the week where they are going to continue the educational opportunities and giving us an opportunity to hear directly from you all of the things that went well and what were some of the lessons learned. I also want to take a moment to congratulate you on delivering what was an absolutely epic Olympic Games in Paris. You have set the bar for what viewers and participants and visitors from around the world should experience. For those of you who had the opportunity to be in Paris, I know you felt the magic while you were there. It's a wonderful city on any given day, but to add the magic of the Olympics to it was absolutely spectacular. Your volunteer programs, your staffing, the security, the sustainability, the transportation, the investments in the Olympic Village, the creation of entire new communities, the way you activated your city truly sets the bar and the standards for what we can and what I know we will do here in the city of Los Angeles. So a very, very special welcome this morning to the Parisian delegation. Thank you for being with us.
Councilmember Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and Councilmember Park, very well said. I do want to say that Mayor Hidalgo had a vision for the 24 Paris Games that included tremendous legacies that would benefit Paris for generations to come. It was a bold vision, it was a courageous vision, and it was one that the outcome of which could have been in doubt. And when we visited Paris in March, and Mayor Hidalgo and the entire city staff was so generous in welcoming us, there were still concerns and a little bit of anxiety about the upcoming games, both within City Hall and within the public. And despite those concerns, as Councilmember Park pointed out, this was an Olympics that truly was magical. And in every respect, from those of us who were watching there and from around the world, it was a special moment, not only for the Olympic movement, but for the city of Paris as well. And you could feel the way even the doubters among Parisians, the doubters who had concerns about the Olympics, in every cafe, on every street corner, every place on the metro, you could feel that Parisians had an uplifted morale, a great sense of what their city could accomplish, and it was done incredibly effectively. And I know that Los Angeles, receiving the baton from Paris, can strive to do those sorts of things too. We can have a big vision. We can make that big vision a reality, and in the process, we can uplift this city as well as having a tremendously successful games. So thank you for setting the bar. Thank you for the challenge that you've presented to us, but thank you for the inspiration that you've given us as well, and for your generosity in allowing us to learn from you, even as the games were occurring, where I think for many of us and our city departments, as we were if we were the ones trying to run an Olympic Games, I have a feeling we would all feel as though our time was better spent doing other things than helping another city. And yet you were able to do that in a way that was exceptionally eye-opening and educational and helpful and instructive for all of us. So for those of you who didn't have a chance to interact with the city of Paris during the Olympics and during the Paralympic Games, I would really urge you to seize the opportunity now while they're here to get to know them, to learn from them, and to benefit from the value of their experience, because this visit, I think, will be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us to help prepare for a once-in-a-lifetime event, being the 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games. So thank you all so much for welcoming us in Paris and for coming and joining us here in Los Angeles, and we look forward to a continuing partnership throughout the next 4 years and beyond between Paris and Los Angeles.
Councilman Rodriguez.
Thank you very much. Bienvenue. It's wonderful to have you all here in Los Angeles, and congratulations. But thank you so much for being here and sharing and imparting so many of the lessons learned. I know our city departments are eager to engage with you all. I know there's a lot of lessons. There's so many things to be impressed about the level of detail and production and effort that went into, in spite of COVID, how you all still made that mark. That was impressive, because I know as we were struggling through COVID and obviously globally, you all pushed through. And I couldn't believe from some of the infrastructure projects that were completed, and it was phenomenal. It still had new car smell at some of the new metro stations. It was really quite spectacular how you all really managed to make it all happen so seemingly flawlessly. I know to all the other observers, you wouldn't have known, and I know how challenging it is in producing large-scale events, and it's remarkable what you all did. But thank you for coming and making yourselves available to impart your wisdom and lessons learned with our city departments. And more importantly, congratulations on really activating the city. Your city is already magic, but the cultural activation, I thought, was really spectacular, with all of the different countries really representing the best of themselves. It was really a beautiful exhibition of your own personal, your own history of your country, but more importantly, the shared celebration of all the countries that were welcomed in Paris. It was really remarkable, and it was quite special. So congratulations, and thank you so much, and welcome to Los Angeles. And we are very eager to learn from all of your lessons. Thank you.
Councilmember Padilla.
I also want to just give you the welcoming and thank you so much for being here. You know, I don't think this is something that you're necessarily required to do, so we appreciate just the willingness to be a partner, the willingness to share the best practices. So I'm glad you're here, and I just want to say, you know, I'm excited to be in the conversations. I'm excited to be somebody who's going to be asking some questions, and you know, I think about everything that I saw, and I saw a lot of. I guess the proper word would be compromising, right? In terms of how you made sure that your beautiful city was kept intact, that there was dignity to the partnership. And just with that, I'm very interested myself to know, how did you go about that? You know, because as being a very beautiful city, a very historical city, and being known for that, I struggle with how we in the city of Los Angeles are gonna have to deal with the magic of the being known for our Hollywood glam, right? And how we reach that compromise and making sure that in the midst of the Hollywood glam, that we don't forget that at the end of the day, this is to benefit our residents and really showcase the unity of what is the global the global goal of something like the Olympics. So all I would say is, please be honest with us. Tell us the good, the bad, and the ugly, because we will highly appreciate it. And we want to be able to say that we had a great event similar to how it was for y'all, for all of y'all. So thank you, and looking forward to seeing you around and learning from what you were able to learn. Welcome.
So to our guests, just want to say welcome to Council Chambers. Thank you so much for being here today, but also thank you for coming to Los Angeles to share not only what you've learned, but how we can best prepare for our 28 games. So welcome and thank you, and we appreciate you being here and sharing this with us today. We're going to move to 10 minutes of public comment on the phones right now. If we can call the first caller, please.
And before the caller begins, just for everybody on the phones, the items that are open for public comment are items 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65.
All items in general public comment.
Okay, so you
Richard
have
Serrano.
3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Smoke and scan again. Thank you for the support. 34, Ana has the experience to do the work. Unfortunately, she's tied to Miss, her predecessor. And it's not there because she worked hard to earn her own. And let's give her that. But Emilio Padilla, again, she was being groomed for this. So I don't give her so much leeway on this stuff. Ana got the ability to perform without bias to the situations. Again, she's being appointed for a reason. Hard work, and, just because you have a superior that, Mary Martinez was just not that person that was for the people. She was for herself. So that'd be great to see her succeed, even though
please move
that
on to another
has
item.
to be jumped. 65. Let's go to 65. I would love to see Paul Rockefeller and Stuart Little live in that trailer park that they're trying to push to and through. Since they were there speaking, that they own it, they're, investing in it. I'd love to see them own it, live in it, like the movie The Soup. Make them live there and see if it's true. And if it's everything that they make it out to be, should be great for the community, right? You got people with a lot of money living in a trailer community. The lady's looking for a place to park her RV. Like most are lawyers, they probably put her in a nice dress, come in, say something for us, and we'll give you free rent or something. I don't know. Just quit lying to the people, man. This thing is just out there. People that invest their money. Do you understand we're paying $50, $90 to park at Dodger Stadium?
Please
and
move
yet
on to
you have
another
the
item.
gondola being pushed through by the McCourts. General public comment.
So you have 1 minute. Go
Just
ahead.
bothersome that, again, we get into a situation. Everyone with money keeps pushing this situation to city council, and they use their friends there to get things done. I applaud Hugo and Ms. Hernandez. You guys are really about the people. Always been saying that. McCourt, same thing. Can't say no more than you guys really lead for your people. So, again, I look at the overall, and I wish to be amongst you. But from out here, all I can do is bring to light what other people do in dark. Don't let anyone that owns properties and rents them as landlords be at city council, because they're only there to invest. There is no reason that the gondola should be going to Dodger Stadium. $50 for parking, you can obviously see it's a money thing. You're just trying to
Caller,
McCourt.
your time has
The
expired.
Dodgers
Next
don't want
caller.
it.
Call-in user 1, unmute yourself.
Items 48, 64, and general public comment.
Okay, so you have 2 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general. Please begin with the items.
Item 48, Neighborhood Council 25th Year Recognition. Neighborhood councils provide local expertise and a local voice on the delivery of city services to their communities. Since neighborhood councils hold their meetings in the communities they serve, they are an important avenue for public participation in the city of Los Angeles and give the members of a community the chance to have input on decisions that affect their quality of life and the services they receive from the city. Neighborhood councils play an advisory role in the city of Los Angeles municipal government. I'd like to move on to item 64, and I want to speak on the phrase in the motion, including an outreach strategy. As the world continues to grow more diverse, it is more important than ever to take the time to be deliberately inclusive in our community engagement strategies. Inclusive means not excluding any of the parties or groups involved, but even more so to make participants feel welcome, valued, and included in your work. Numerous studies have shown that inclusivity results in better outcomes, more creative ideas, strengthened communication, robust support for results, and deeper relationships. Now I'd like to move on to general public comment.
Okay, and before you do, hold on just 1 second. Mr. Harlan, I see you've just joined us. Please do not disrupt the public comment. This is your first and only formal warning. Okay, go ahead. Your 1 minute for general public comment starts now.
Thank you. Fire department has to respond to an abandoned construction project causing neighboring occupants to become displaced. Last week, a firefighter fell through the floor of a burning vacant Hollywood apartment building. Yesterday morning, fire department had to respond to a Winnetka vacant home. Last week, City Council voted to approve overtime for the fire department. Yes, the fire department is important, but did you hear what I just stated? Vacant, abandoned, vacant. Is LADBS doing their job? Are they following up on violations? If they are the property owners properly securing their properties? If not, hold them 100% responsible for any cost of fire department response. And again, this morning, comments by City Council. You are incentivizing developers to purchase occupied buildings.
Caller, your time has expired. Next caller.
Caller ending in 3713, unmute yourself.
Hi, this is Ruth. I'd like to speak on all available items. You said it was 34 through 38 and then 40. Can you please remind me the numbers?
Yes, so 34 through 38, 40 through 64, and item 65. So you have 3 minutes for the items and 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin with the items.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so 34, it's Charter Reform Commission. I don't see how we can talk about making our city better through charter reform when we can't even oppose a genocide. Like, if we can't get accountability for genocide out of 15 people, how are we going to get it out of more members? People are being slaughtered.
So I'm going to need you to connect this more to item 34, which is specifically about an appointment of the executive director of the Charter Reform Commission. You're welcome to speak to that during general if you'd like, though.
Moving on. He said 40. Okay, 1 sec. Sorry. There's a lot of items. So yeah, another charter reform, 42. Relative to funding for salaries and expenses associated with the city's Charter Reform Commission. So we're going to pay more people, but how are we going to hold them accountable for the biggest violation of human rights and just decency when there's a genocide happening?
So again, this is your last warning. You're welcome to speak to that during general public comment if you'd like, but for the first 3 minutes, please stick to the items.
All right, that was 2 items I just spoke on. Illuminating City Hall. It's $438 to put a candy wrapper or a condom over the light. That's not an efficient use of money. Indigenous people, I support them. I support 33. Oh, October 7th at City Hall. Once again, there's a genocide happening in Gaza. My friends there are dying. They're saying goodbye, and
I'm sorry, which item are you speaking
everyone
to?
around them is dying. 52, October 7th at City Hall. Special illuminations. So yes, that is a reminder of the genocide that's happening in Gaza. People are dying. My friends wanted me to ask you what you're doing to stop the genocide. So I'm asking you, what are you doing to stop the genocide? Item number 55, healthcare in action. City contract 145047. Okay, healthcare in action. I was one of their clients for more than a year. They were never able to help me so much as get a Band-Aid or tissue. They just basically enroll people in an enhanced care management
General
plan.
public comment?
Okay, so I'm going to continue on number 55 because their contracts are really expensive and they take a lot of grant money from state and federal encampment resolution funds and earmark funds from Congressman Adam Schiff. And that money could have and should have gone to extending hotel stay for the encampments to home participants. I wasn't fortunate enough to be one of them, but at the end of the couple of months that they were in the hotel room, their case managers put them in a van and dropped them off at my public encampment. And that's where they lived after that. So the money could have gone to housing, but instead the housing outcomes were removed from the budget and they got 4 more case managers that dropped them off at my encampment, and Healthcare in Action had no help.
So, caller, your time has expired.
Thank you so much. That concludes public comment both in the chamber and by telephones. Mr. Clerk, what items are before us at this time?
Mr. President, there is a request to continue items 30, 40, and 58 to Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024.
Without objection, that'll be the order. What's next?
The council may now consider item 60, called special by Councilmember Price for recusal.
All right. Mr. Price is recusing himself on item number 60. All right. Let's open the roll, close the roll. 60, not 40. 60, you're good. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
12 aye.
All right, what's next?
If we could wait for Councilmember Price.
Well, wait, Mr. Price is returned.
The council may now vote on items 34 through 38, 41 through 57, 59, and 61 through 63.
All right, we'll do all of those items except for 63. We'll hold 63 for Councilmember Park. If you could read off the list of items again.
Yes, sir. The council may now vote on items 34 through 38, 41 through 57, 59, 61, and 62.
All right, those items are now before us. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, what's next?
The council may now vote on item 15 as amended by motion 15A, Hutt for Harris Dawson, Lee.
All right, let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
What's next?
Item 26 was held on the desk per the request of Councilmember Hernandez.
All right, if there are no comments, Councilmember Hernandez, we'll open the roll on this one, close the roll, keep the roll open for a minute. All right, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
11 ayes, 2 noes.
All right. What's next?
The council may now proceed to closed session for item 65.
So, okay, before we go to that item, I want to hear from Councilmember Rahman.
Could I just be recorded as a no on item 8, please? I don't think it affects the outcome of the vote.
All right, if there's no impact on the outcome, we record Councilmember Rahman as a no on item number 8.
Thank you.
All right, what's next?
If the council wishes, proceed to closed session for item 65.
All right, we will proceed to closed session at this time to take up this item. So I'll ask everybody in the chamber to follow the instruction of the sergeants to prepare the room for closed session.
Department's inspection, and you avoid a $33 non-compliance fee and also a time-consuming second inspection, which comes with a costly $668 non-compliance fee. So it's important to note too that there's no need to call for an inspection at any time. You don't need to call for an inspection. We're going to do that automatically. Our computer system tracks all the properties that are due for an inspection. So then we'll have an appropriate inspector. They're going to be notified that your property is due, and they're going to come in and inspect and or re-inspect if needed. Now for the first inspection. That first inspection is done by us, the fire department, and it is in May 1st, and it continues until June 30th. However, we want people to know that it is a year-round requirement to have brush clearance. And all parcels that are within that very high fire hazard severity zone, they will be initially inspected. Those parcels that are found in violation are going to be issued a notice of violation, and they'll be assessed, and that's when you get that $33 non-compliance fee. Then the homeowner has about 30 days to comply with that notice of violation. And the owner can check the status of their property by registering an account at vms3.lafd.org. So now when we come to the second inspection, that means that you as a homeowner were issued a notice of violation on the first inspection. So then you're going to be inspected a second time after that 30-day period. That gives you that grace period of 30 days to correct the violation. Then owners can check the status of their property again by registering your account at vms3.lafd.org. Now, if the property is not fully in compliance upon initial inspection, that owner is going to be notified via mail or email if you're registered within that website that we mentioned. So it's important to also say there's no need to call the LAFD brush unit when you're ready for your re-inspection. That re-inspection will be automatically scheduled as appropriate with their time frames. It's all computerized. So if your property remains in non-compliance after a failed re-inspection, then it's going to be cleared by city contractors. And the property owner or you will be invoiced a non-compliance fee of $668 plus an administrative fee of $1,498 on top of the contractor's fee, so you certainly want to avoid this. We get asked a lot of questions. Here is your top 7 most frequently asked questions and the answer. So number 1 is, how can I check the brush status of my own property? Again, that's that important website that we're driving home, the vms3.lafd.org. You could register a new brush clearance account there and check the status. Now use your APN or the assessor parcel number as well as a PIN, which is your personal identification number. It's going to be printed on the bottom of the owner notification that was mailed to you annually in March. Often we get asked, well, what is the best way to contact the brush unit? Simply put, the best way is to send an email. You send it to lafdbrush@lacity.org. Now, if you incorporate your APN and a brief description of the issue or the problem that you would like to discuss, that greatly assists us determining who you are and what the issue is. And then a member of our brush unit will respond to you within 48 hours. Also, you could feel free to call. The number is 1-800-994-4444. But we do ask for your patience in advance because it's very busy and there's minimal inspectors, so we have limited resources to take your call. But the office hours are from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. So what if you received a notice of noncompliance in the mail? What are you supposed to do then? Well, start by reading that notice very carefully. Identify the actual violations that were mentioned on your property. See what was cited there. And then you could follow the steps in the frequently asked questions, the first one there, to see photos that was taken by the inspector of your property and where the problem is. Then you want to correct those violations by the due date. So look at that due date. It'll be located at the top right corner of your notice. Here's another question we get. Okay, you were issued a notice of noncompliance, and now you did the right thing. You finished clearing your property of the violations that you were cited. Now what? What's next? Well, truthfully, you don't have to do anything at this point. After the allotted 30-day period, a fire inspector is going to re-inspect your property, and if your property is still in noncompliance, then you get that second notice to abate the fire hazard. That'll be mailed to you. Now, the city will start the process to have your property cleared by a contractor at your expense, so you want to avoid that. Some ask if there is a particular contractor that should be used to clear your property. Well, simply put, the city does not provide a recommendation, nor do we endorse any contractor. So really, it's you as the property owner, it's your responsibility to request the current proof of insurance, if they're bonded, if they have a license, and obtain any other relevant information about that contractor. But we do try to help. So there is a brush clearance contractor list on the website. So what do you do if you feel that the inspector is wrong and that your property is in compliance? And can you file an appeal? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Visit the LAFD Brush website to view the detailed inspection process, and that includes appeals. However, note that a failed inspection will subject you as the owner to fees that continue to increase with each failed inspection. All billing is conducted through the city's accounting services section. So if you have questions about that concerning your fees or your invoices or any fees that even could be attached to a tax bill, you should direct those to the source. That's accounting. So you could either call them at 213-978-3424, or you could send an email to lafd.brush@lacity.org. We understand that many people might be worried about their neighbor's property and that they might have a fire hazard because of some overgrown brush. And how would you report that? So first off, we want you to know that the fire department wants to hear your concerns so we can provide the clearance necessary for our firefighters to protect your property and your neighborhood. So you can report a brush fire hazard by email to lafdbrush@lacity.org. Now, please make sure that you include the exact location of the brush hazards, the address. If you have the APN, that would be even better. But of course, you need to put a brief description of what the hazards are and where those hazards are on the property. And of course, it's best not to go looking at those hazards on that neighbor's property without permission. You also can make your complaint by phone. That same phone number we provided before to our brush clearance unit is 1-800-994-4444. And again, we welcome your complaint, but remember too that we have limited resources to take your call, and those hours are from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Every day, over 100 Americans die from secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke in children can cause asthma, ear infections, and increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Go to smokefreehomesla.com. Learn how you can protect your home from secondhand smoke.
LA Mayor Karen Bass announced that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, has been awarded $8 million in grant funding to help strengthen grid infrastructure. The grant from the U.S. Department of Energy's Grid Deployment Office will be used to maintain and enhance hydroelectricity production. LADWP will use the funding at 2 power plants in Los Angeles to ensure the reliable operation of 3 older turbine generators. $5 million of the grant will go to the Elderberry Dam Works at the Castaic Power Plant operated by LADWP. For more information on this funding, visit mayor.lacity.gov/press. LA City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto was honored with the Creo Award by the East Los Angeles Community Union, Telecu, at their annual 2024 Building the Dream Gala. Telecu provides services like affordable housing, scholarships, and leadership development programs to support and empower families and communities. Honoree Feldstein Soto was recognized for her legislative work on behalf of all Angelinos, especially the city's youth. Telecu is a nonprofit organization focused on community development, and this event benefited its Education Foundation. For more information on the City Attorney's Office, visit cityattorney.lacity.gov/news. LA City Council has approved a funding request by Councilmember Bob Blumenfield to expand the services of Safe Parking LA in the West San Fernando Valley. Through Safe Parking LA, the funding of $50,000 will support case management, outreach services, and general operations. Funds will also be used to provide financial assistance for driver's license fees, vehicle registration or renewal, auto repairs, and other expenses. Participants in the program will continue to receive homeless services and support to secure more permanent housing. Contracts with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority and Safe Parking LA will be amended to provide the program services until June 30th, 2025. For more information on the work of LA City Council, visit lacity.gov/government.
The number one cause of preventable death after injury is bleeding. Someone who is severely bleeding can bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes. Minutes count, and your LAFD thanks you for learning how to stop the bleed by following the ABCs. If someone has an injury with blood spurting out of the wound, clothing soaked in blood, bleeding that won't stop, or loss of any part of an arm or leg, you need to act quickly. The first step is A for alert. Have someone call 911. The next step is B for bleeding. Locate the bleeding injury and remove any clothing covering the area so you can see the injury. The final step is C for compress. Use any clean cloth. Apply the dressing directly to the wound and press down hard. Push down on top of the wound with both hands as hard as you can. If blood soaks through the dressing, do not remove it. Add another dressing on top and continue applying steady pressure. Do not release the pressure to check the wound. Keep steady pressure until help arrives.
Of your Los Angeles City Council.
Here's what's happening in LA this week.
This is LA Currents.
I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true.
Hi, I'm Eric Scott, Captain and Public Information Officer for the Los Angeles City Fire Department. Often people ask us really, what is brush clearance and why is it important? So simply put, brush fires continue to threaten life and property in the very high fire hazard severity zone. So that means areas that are prone to wildfires. And having brush clearance provides us the defensible space to save those lives and property. So particularly when you're clearing all of those ground fuels or the lower vegetation, that really helps us because it'll present what is called the fire ladder. And that's when the fire starts off low on the ground and it starts to climb upward to where it gets spread by winds. So what you might see is an ember would land on the ground, it would ignite the grass that is there, or what we call as light flashy fuel. And then it's gonna jump to those lower hanging limbs or those branches and starts to climb up the tree, ignites that heavier fuel, and that just exasperates the problem. So this requirement does not apply to your healthy fruit trees or privacy hedges or ornamental shrubbery, as long as that's all well maintained, meaning that it's free of all dead and dry material. Also, people ask, well, what are the basic brush clearance requirements? So your basic requirements are this. You want to trim the weeds and the grass down to 3 inches. You need to trim the bottom third of a bush, the bottom 6 feet of a tree. Now around your home, you'd want to maintain 5 feet clearance from the roof line. So if you're 5 foot tall and you're walking the perimeter of your roof, nothing should hit you in the head. And then you want to double that to 10 feet from the chimney, fences, and roadways. And it's important to note that these requirements are all within 200 feet of any structure or home, regardless if that structure or home is on your property or adjoining properties like your neighbors. So it's those areas that need to be clear in order to limit the spread of fire and to provide the defensible space for us firefighters to safely operate. So simply put, we'll provide the offense if you provide the defense. So here's your basic inspection process. It begins with the owner's self-inspection. So you want to compare your native brush and your landscape vegetation on your property with the information that you're going to find in the mailer and also on the lafd.org/brush website. Now, if you have difficulties and you're not able to do that yourself, you can hire a professional who can both understand the information and then apply it to the property that you own. But you want to clear your property as required prior to May 1st this year. And that way you're going to pass the fire department's inspection and you'll avoid a $33 non-compliance fee and also a time-consuming second inspection, which comes with a costly $668 non-compliance fee. So it's important to note too that there's no need to call for an inspection at any time. You don't need to call for an inspection. We're going to do that automatically. Our computer system tracks all the properties that are due for an inspection. So then we'll have an appropriate inspector. They're going to be notified that your property is due, and they're going to come in and inspect and or re-inspect if needed. Now for the first inspection. That first inspection is done by us, the fire department, and it is in May 1st, and it continues until June 30th. However, we want people to know that it is a year-round requirement to have brush clearance. And all parcels that are within that very high fire hazard severity zone, they will be initially inspected. Those parcels that are found in violation are going to be issued a notice of violation, and they'll be assessed, and that's when you get that $33 non-compliance fee. Then the homeowner has about 30 days to comply with that notice of violation. And the owner can check the status of their property by registering an account at vms3.lafd.org. So now when we come to the second inspection, that means that you as a homeowner were issued a notice of violation on the first inspection. So then you're going to be inspected a second time after that 30-day period. That gives you that grace period of 30 days to correct the violation. Then owners can check the status of their property again by registering your account at vms3.lafd.org. Now, if the property is not fully in compliance upon initial inspection, that owner is going to be notified via mail or email if you're registered within that website that we mentioned. So it's important to also say there's no need to call the LAFD brush unit when you're ready for your reinspection. That reinspection will be automatically scheduled as appropriate with their timeframes. It's all computerized. So if your property remains in non-compliance after a failed reinspection, then it's going to be cleared by city contractors. And the property owner or you will be invoiced a non-compliance fee of $668 plus an administrative fee of $1,498 on top of the contractor's fee, so you certainly want to avoid this. We get asked a lot of questions. Here is your top 7 most frequently asked questions and the answer. So number 1 is, how can I check the brush status of my own property? Again, that's that important website that we're driving home, the vms3.lafd.org. You could register a new brush clearance account there and check the status. Now use your APN or the assessor parcel number, as well as a PIN, which is your personal identification number. It's going to be printed on the bottom of the owner notification that was mailed to you annually in March. Often we get asked, well, what is the best way to contact the brush unit? Simply put, the best way is to send an email. You send it to lafdbrush@lacity.org. Now, if you incorporate your APN and a brief description of the issue or the problem that you would like to discuss, that greatly assists us determining who you are and what the issue is. And then a member of our brush unit will respond to you within 48 hours. Also, you could feel free to call. The number is 1-800-994-4444. But we do ask for your patience in advance because it's very busy and there's minimal inspectors, so we have limited resources to take your call. But the office hours are from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, excluding holidays. So what if you received a notice of non-compliance in the mail? What are you supposed to do then? Well, start by reading that notice very carefully. Identify the actual violations that were mentioned on your property. See what was cited there. And then you could follow the steps in the frequently asked questions, the first one there, to see photos that was taken by the inspector of your property and where the problem is. Then you want to correct those violations by the due date. So look at that due date. It'll be located at the top right corner of your notice. Here's another question we get. Okay, you were issued a notice of non-compliance, and now you did the right thing. You finished clearing your property of the violations that you were cited. Now what? What's next? Well, truthfully, you don't have to do anything at this point. After the allotted 30-day period, a fire inspector is going to re-inspect your property, and if your property is still in non-compliance, then you get that second notice to abate the fire hazard. That'll be mailed to you. Now, the city will start the process to have your property cleared by a contractor at your expense, so you want to avoid that. Some ask if there is a particular contractor that should be used to clear your property. Well, simply put, the city does not provide a recommendation, nor do we endorse any contractor. So really, it's you as the property owner, it's your responsibility to request the current proof of insurance, if they're bonded, if they have a license, and obtain any other relevant information about that contractor. But we do try to help. So there is a brush clearance contractor list on the website. So what do you do if you feel that the inspector is wrong and that your property is in compliance? And can you file an appeal? Well, the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Visit the LAFD Brush website to view the detailed inspection process, and that includes appeals. However, note that a failed inspection will subject you as the owner to fees that continue to increase with each failed inspection. All billing is conducted through the city's accounting services section. So if you have questions about that concerning your fees or your invoices or any fees that even could be attached to a tax bill, you should direct those to the source. That's accounting. So you could either call them at 213-978-4600 3424, or you could send an email to lafd.brush, ACCTG@lacity.org. We understand that many people might be worried about their neighbor's property and that they might have a fire hazard because of some overgrown brush. And how would you report that? So first off, we want you to know that the fire department wants to hear your concerns so we can provide the clearance necessary for our firefighters to protect your property and your neighborhood. So you can report a brush fire hazard by email to lafdbrush@lacity.org. Now, please make sure that you include the exact location of the brush hazards, the address. If you have the APN, that would be even better. But of course, you need to put a brief description of what the hazards are and where those hazards are on the property. And of course, it's best not to go looking at those hazards on that neighbor's property without permission. You also can make your complaint by phone. That same phone number we provided before to our brush clearance unit is 1-800-994-4444. And again, we welcome your complaint, but remember too that we have limited resources to take your call, and those hours are from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Every day, over 100 Americans die from secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke in children can cause asthma, ear infections, and increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Go to smokefreehomesla.com. Learn how you can protect your home from secondhand smoke.
LA Mayor Karen Bass announced that the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, LADWP, has been awarded $8 million in grant funding to help strengthen grid infrastructure. The grant from the U.S. Department of Energy's Grid Deployment Office will be used to maintain and enhance hydroelectricity production. LADWP will use the funding at 2 power plants in Los Angeles to ensure the reliable operation of 3 older turbine generators. $5 million of the grant will go to the Elderberry Dam Works at the Castaic Power Plant operated by LADWP. For more information on this funding, visit mayor.lacity.gov/press. LA City Attorney Heidi Feldstein Soto was honored with the Creo Award by the East Los Angeles Community Union, Telecu, at their annual 2024 Building the Dream Gala. Telecu provides services like affordable housing, scholarships, and leadership development programs to support and empower families and communities. Honoree Feldstein Soto was recognized for her legislative work on behalf of all Angelinos, especially the city's youth. Telecu is a nonprofit organization focused on community development, and this event benefited its education foundation. For more information on the City Attorney's Office, visit cityattorney.lacity.gov/news. LA City Council has approved a funding request by Councilmember Bob Blumenfield to expand the services of Safe Parking LA in the West San Fernando Valley. Through Safe Parking LA, the funding of $50,000 will support case management, outreach services, and general operations. Funds will also be used to provide financial assistance for driver's license fees, vehicle registration or renewal, auto repairs, and other expenses. Participants in the program will continue to receive homeless services and support to secure more permanent housing. Contracts with the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority and Safe Parking LA will be amended to provide the program's services until June 30th, 2025. For more information on the work of LA City Council, visit lacity.gov/government.
The number one cause of preventable death after injury is bleeding. Someone who is severely bleeding can bleed to death in as little as 5 minutes. Minutes count, and your LAFD thanks you for learning how to stop the bleed by following the ABCs. If someone has an injury with blood spurting out of the wound, clothing soaked in blood, bleeding that won't stop, or loss of any part of an arm or leg, you need to act quickly. The first step is A for alert. Have someone call 911. The next step is B for bleeding. Locate the bleeding injury and remove any clothing covering the area so you can see the injury. The final step is C for compress. Use any clean cloth. Apply the dressing directly to the wound and press down hard. Push down on top of the wound with both hands as hard as you can. If blood soaks through the dressing, do not remove it. Add another dressing on top and continue applying steady pressure. Do not release the pressure to check the wound. Keep steady pressure until help arrives.
Of your Los Angeles City Council.
Here's what's happening in LA this week.
This is LA Currents.
I call on our city to not just dream of the LA we want, but to participate in making the dream come true.
All right, I believe the chambers are sufficiently open for us to resume business. Mr. City Attorney, is there anything to report out of closed session?
Yes, after we take roll.
All right, we'll take the roll.
Thank you, Mr. President. Blumenfield, De Leon, Harris Dawson, Hernandez, Hutt, Krikorian, Lee, McOsker, Padilla, Park, Price, Rahman, Rodriguez, Soto Martinez, Yaroslavsky, 13 members present and quorum, Mr. President.
And during closed session, council voted to reject the city attorney's office's recommendation in the confidential written report.
All right, what's next?
Mr. President, if I may, for the record, in regards to item 8, the new vote per Councilmember Rahman's request is 10 ayes and 1 no.
All right.
The council may now vote on item 64.
All right, let's open the roll on 64, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, and now I believe we have item 63.
That is correct, sir.
Call special by Councilmember Park. If there are no comments, Councilmember Park on item 63.
Yep, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to rise and offer that as the courts continue to litigate the proposed merger of Kroger and Albertsons, I think it's really important that the City of LA send a clear message that we are unequivocally opposed to this action. This is by far the largest supermarket merger in history, and the reasons to oppose it are pretty simple. This isn't just anti-competitive, which risks higher prices for Angelenos who are already struggling to keep up with the cost of living, but it also undermines communities and workers in the city. As you all know, our grocery stores really are community anchors. They serve countless families, seniors, and residents, and they provide pathways into good middle-class jobs. In a recent LA Times story about the proposed merger, one of the residents in my district, John Samakis, summed up how many of us feel when he described what it would be like if we lost our beloved Little Vons in Westchester. He said, "We come here and we see our neighbors and we see people we know. It really makes you feel like you're part of the community." I think we all know that we risk losing those things that bind us together, and what a problem that is, especially when it is at the expense of short-sighted, short-term gains. So if this merger does succeed, we don't know what will happen to the 14 stores across LA that are slated to be sold. We have no guarantee that those stores, once sold, won't close. We won't know that we won't lose our union labor, and we won't know that the underlying real estate won't be sold for various development purposes. Of the 14 LA stores that could be sold, 3 of those are in my district, Westchester, Venice, and Pacific Palisades. But it isn't just the West Side. This is every neighborhood in the city of Los Angeles that is going to be impacted by this, inevitably in the form of higher prices and lost jobs. So I urge an aye vote. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Councilmember Park. Seeing no other members on the queue, let's open the roll on this item, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right, what's next?
Council has motions for posting and referral.
They are posted and referred.
The desk is clear, sir.
All right, announcements, members? Mr. McCosker.
Thank you very much. I wanted to announce the Harbor Football Classic is happening this Friday at the Coliseum. As you know, the last couple of years, we've had opportunities for some of our great high schools to play football in the Coliseum. And this year is the chance for the Harbor area. And the clash will be between the Banning Pilots and the San Pedro Pirates. And what's really cool about this Friday is that at 4 p.m. we're going to have the JVs play. And for the first time ever, I think it's at 6 p.m., but it's in between the 2 football games, we are going to have the girls' flag football teams play. So the Banning girls versus the Pirate girls, and it'll be the first time that they play on the Coliseum floor in this classic. I'm really excited about that. It is a great sport if you haven't followed flag football. And then at 7:30 p.m., the boys varsity will play. We are going to have both bands from the Banning High and from Pedro High play on the floor. So I'm inviting everybody to come on out. All of the proceeds of tickets go back to the school, so it's a great event. And I want to thank the Friends of the Coliseum Commission for working with us on this event.
Thank you so much, Mr. McCosker. And this is a super exciting game. Glad the Harbor and the South is getting to do it. Last year we had Crenshaw and King Drew High School, so we're very grateful to the Coliseum Commission for that. Any other announcements, members? All right, this coming Saturday, folks, we have the 19th Annual Taste of Soul Family Festival in Los Angeles on the world-famous Crenshaw Boulevard. Nearly 500,000 attendees from all over the state and city come. It's a free event. There'll be 150 food vendors, clothing vendors, community resources, health screenings, job recruitment, training sessions, network opportunities, voter registration booth, and community engagement initiatives. There will be multiple entertainment stages. KJLH will have a stage. There will be a gospel stage, and there will be a Bakewell Media Sounds for the Soul stage. And our hosts this year are comedian Cedric the Entertainer and Tiffany Haddish, along with Queen Latifah, who will be there with us on Saturday. So everybody is invited. We'll be excited to see you on Saturday afternoon on Crenshaw Boulevard. Other announcements? All right, seeing none, I'll ask everybody in the chamber to rise for adjourning motions. Adjourning motions to my left. Adjourning motions to my right. All right, we're adjourned. Thank you so much, everybody.